Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is the week in review. I'm going to start right off and saying I know even right now, presently, things are popping off. Got Battle in the Valley. We've got Hard to Kill, which my cohort and commentary here has been much better than myself at keeping a finger somewhat on the pulse of. I am completely aloof because I did plan on hopefully watching a replay of Hard to Kill when it goes up somewhere. I did not check in on Rampage, which is actually kind of a shame because the Rampage card looked better than the Dynamite card, and obviously I was checked out of Collision. That being said, I have kept up with at least watching the main programs, Raw, NXT, SmackDown, and Dynamite. And going by that, so I'll still give myself a pat on the back. I'm 2 for 2 as far as weeks go. We'll see how long it keeps up. And going by that content, I would say that NXT was the show of the week for me. I credit that in large part to our TwitWoW Discord, which any of you can join for $3 a month if you haven't already. It's a great server, great people, and especially me. And I want to give a shout out to my boy Sean. I feel like I've really gone closer to him with our Discord interactions. Standing winners, panning losers, as greatness does. But yes, NXT I thought was very fun this week, particularly the true main event, which we will get to. Raw and SmackDown weren't bad, and Dynamite, while it had its positives, oh, is pretty much how I could describe it. I think AEW and I were always going to be on stiff terms a little bit, but there was even stuff to like from Dynamite. So I don't want to be a complete grumpy Gus. But I do want to hand it over here to my cohort and commentary, especially Ashton, because again, you have been better than me this week about consuming certain media. How have you felt about this week in the world of wrestling? And what would you say the best thing you watched this week was just in the, main roster, so to speak, of what we cover?
I gotta correct you. I haven't been better about you this week. I've just been better about you today because I pay so little attention to these daily or these like normal like weekly shows. But tonight I was watching pretty much everything. Like I had watched Collision, or at least the stuff on Collision that I cared to pay attention to. I watched the stuff on Hard to Kill that I cared to pay attention to. And of course, then yeah, Battle in the Valley came on, and I started watching that, and oh boy, we've got some fun stuff to talk about from all three of those shows actually. But as far as like the other stuff that happened throughout the week, I'm a lot hazier on because I do pay a little attention to those shows. I know I slept through a lot of NXT and then I went back and rewound it and just kind of had it on in the background while I did other stuff. I saw the big Obafemi win. That was awesome. um, uh, Dynamite, I remember being pretty down on. Raw and SmackDown, I remember being kind of like, I would say slightly above ambivalent. Like it wasn't completely mid, but it was barely better than mid, especially SmackDown as far as being better than mid goes. Raw might have just been mid. And then yeah, Rampage had some okay stuff on it. I would say out of AEW, I would say that Collision was probably the best show this week, but it was also just offensive in some ways.
Oh, believe me, I just caught up on the Discord because, I know you tag everyone when you put out the show link. Extracurriculars, that's a separate segment, but just extraneous stuff that's still in the realm of like mainstream wrestling.
Yeah.
And then we got into the meat and potatoes. Let's do that again here somewhat. So you've been checking out Battle in the Valley and Hard to Kill. First of all, I've got to ask because I've been curious, and again, I really do want to make it a priority because TNA is back to plug into it for 2024. Again, we do not know how long this will last. I'm not saying this is a permanent thing. We should know by now how flighty I am. But based on what you've seen, how have you felt about Hard to Kill so far tonight?
It's been okay. It's been solid. There's been some good stuff, some really good stuff, I should say. I don't want to sell it short because there has been some really good stuff.
Good, good.
The main card opened with a women's Ultimate X match, and that was really fucking good. I was not able to watch the entirety of it, but what I did see was great. And then they chose the correct winner, in my opinion, which was Giselle Shaw. She won.
Nice.
And then the four-way tag match was excellent. Just classic X Division type action, just high speed, fast paced, really fun stuff. That was the one that had all of like the really cool fun like X Division stars in it. It was like Chris Bay, Ace Austin, fucking both members of the Rascals that are in TNA. Mike Bailey was in that. Like it was stacked, and it paid off. Having all those talents in there paid off. It was a really fun match. Um, and we also just got done recently, like right before you and I went on the air, with Trinity versus Jordan Grace, a really, really strong women's championship match. Jordan Grace is your new Knockouts champion, which I think we all expected at this point. And she won with basically Made in Japan. Shingo's move, Made in Japan. That was basically her finisher.
Right. Okay.
But man, that was a really solid match too. I'm trying to remember if there was another good match on the card that I'm forgetting, or if that was it. Let me pull up the results real quick. Um, yeah, that's about it. I mean, we did get a three-way X Division match that was pretty cool too. It had some of that like classic fast X Division action too. It was Chris Sabin versus El Hijo del Vikingo versus Kushida, but you know, we also had like your classic Kushida bullshit in that too, which you know I'm not a fan of. And there was also one particular match on this show, and up to this point, even including both championship matches that have happened so far, the longest match on this fucking show so far was two generic white guys just going at it for no reason.
That's a bit disheartening, but the
Yeah,
good stuff I'm gonna try and hold on.
it was Josh Alexander versus Alex Hammerstone 1-on-1. It was just like a special singles match basically, and it went on for way too goddamn long.
I There is stuff I want to say to stuff that you've already said, but I just want to ask a quick follow-up question to you. I think I've been hearing a lot more about Alex Hammerstone lately. Is he like, is there any upside to this dude, or is it just
Do
like,
you
oh,
remember
yeah,
Shane Douglas?
yeah,
Imagine if Shane Douglas traded off his charisma for steroids.
ooh,
That's Alex Hammerstone.
ooh, that's gonna process that one. Um, I will say Trinity losing again. I think we all expected because there have been murmurs, which I think now we can put a lot more credence behind that she was going to go back to WWE.
Yes.
Well, you know what? You know what's so funny to me, man? Like,
I also
and I don't
saw,
even.
I think DBK posted in the wrestling discussion channel. Um, Sean Ross Sapp tweeted that Mercedes and Bailey were actually live at TNA Hard to Kill, watching it from the stands, rocking like sunglasses and hoodies, trying not to be seen.
Yeah, I did see that, but what's so funny to me, man, now again, nothing happened on Wednesday, and I think a lot of people expected it to, and that's why I kinda laugh a little bit because, again, I really wasn't thrilled with Dynamite that much this past Wednesday. I feel like I liked the week prior a lot more, but I feel like for as much flexing as AEW has tried to do with their women, WWE now is, like, flexing right back because 'cause you're gonna get Trinity back, who I feel like, and I can't believe I'm saying this because it is TNA, but I do feel like this excursion, like, did help her out, and I
Yeah.
would say it raised her value because she was the champion and everything,
Well,
and she's
not
got
only
such a
that, but
loyal
I
following.
was watching it and I honestly feel like she has stepped up a couple notches. Like as far as in ring quality goes, I feel like she's gotten better.
Yeah, so you've got her coming back, you've got Julia coming down the pipe. It's like, don't get me wrong, AEW made moves. I don't even know if Mercedes is still locked down. I'll believe it when I hear her music hit and I see her come out. But, you know, I love the WWE, even if AEW does flex, and don't get me wrong, Mercedes is a flex. WWE is like, "Man, we ain't sweating it. We just got Julia and we got Trinity back. Like, you know, we're good. We're good." So, women's wrestling, man, just continues to really heat up. I think it's one of the hottest commodities in the business that I still don't think every company knows the true depth of its value, and I'm especially giving a hard glare at AEW in that regard. But yeah, no, it's good to hear that that TNA did make some good moves tonight. There are still some questionable LOL TNA booking decisions, but it is what it is. So then shifting gears, how have you felt about Battle in the Valley? Because I will just say before you take over, I saw Jack Perry trending and I'm like, oh God, what now? And I saw that he attacked Shooter and ripped up his AEW contract thinking that he was doing something. I was unimpressed.
Seeing,
So
I
yeah.
wasn't quite ready to move on to that yet because I just wanted to kind of address the women's division stuff that you've already kind
Oh,
of moved on from.
oh, okay, fair enough.
So I also want to just say, because you already mentioned how WWE's women's division is looking great with the addition of potentially Trinity, most likely Julia. Very, very slight possibility, but pretty unlikely, I would say. Mercedes, we don't know. Um, I also just feel like there's like a certain element of like just booking women well now will lead to a higher quality division in the future because the women who Tony fails to book well now will come to you. Like they'll just be like, "Hey, Tony treats me like shit, and you book your women well. Can I come to you and have you book me well, please?" And Triple H will be like, "Oh yeah, sure, like open arms, baby, let's go." You know,
Absolutely.
it's like he's
Yeah.
casting a net just by booking his division well. That's really all it takes, you know. And Tony is like spraying repellent by booking his division so poorly.
I mean, well said. Nothing really I can add to that. So unless there's anything else you want to
Now
say
we can
about
talk.
that,
Yeah, let's
yeah,
talk about Battle in the
let's talk about
Valley.
her. Yeah, Battle in the Valley. Yeah,
Yeah. So, I haven't paid as close attention to Battle in the Valley because it hasn't had as much that interests me. Uh, but I will say the stuff that I've noticed. So, first of all, I think I like Viva Van. I think she's pretty cool. She had a match with Stephanie Vaquero on the pre-show. Second of all, Jacob Fatu is a fucking madman.
it's a
Um,
compliment, correct? Just to be
Yes, yeah,
clear.
yeah, he's nuts, dude. He is wild. So I don't think he's that big. Like I don't think he's like Solo Sokoa size. He's probably more along the lines of like who's a good comparison? I don't know. He might not even be as big as like Jimmy Uso, honestly. I think he's a little smaller. As far as height goes, he's wider, like he's thicker. But like height wise, I think he's more along the lines of like what am I trying? Maybe like a Braun Breaker. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like he's not like a big tall guy, like a big, like Umaga sized guy, but like he is a thicker guy. Like he's listed at 6'1", 280, but there's no fucking way. If I had to guess, I would say he's maybe like 5'11", 250, which is still a pretty big guy, and he moves, bro. Like he's got that Umaga factor in the sense that like he moves like a fucking cruiserweight, man. Like he is crazy. He is really impressive in the ring. He was doing some crazy shit in the 6-man tag on Battle in the Valley, running the ropes like he's about 5'10", 200 pounds, like running the ropes like a Will Ospreay size guy. Like he was really fast, really athletic, making you doing like fucking almost like arrow from the depths of hell type tope suicidas into the fucking guardrails. Like it was wild, man. It was crazy. And then it was about to be. And that match was also it was Jacob Fatu, Fred Rosser, and Shota Umino. So that match was also the match where by the end of it was when we got fucking Jack Perry. It was actually hilarious because Jack Perry jumped the guardrail while wearing a mask, and security thought he was an actual like rail jumper. Like they went after his ass and they were trying to hold him back, and he had to shove him away, and they had to unmask him for him to be like, for them to realize that he was actually like a part of the show, and they were like, "Oh, sorry, man, I didn't know."
yeah.
And
Jesus.
then yeah, he beat down Umino and he did a guardrail hung DDT, and then he got into the ring. He pulled a packet, like a paper packet, out of his pocket, out of his jacket, and held it up, and it had an AEW logo at the top. So it's implied that this was his AEW contract, and he tore it in half and threw it on the ground, and then he pulled out an armband that said "Scapegoat" on it and put it on.
What an edge lord.
Oh my god. Bro, I'm so used to laughing like this at Tony Khan, but Rocky Romero, what are you doing, bro?
Oh, New Japan. I'm still very worried about you.
Because Rocky Romero is the one that books New Japan Strong. He is in charge of everything New Japan Strong related. If it's New Japan Strong, you have Rocky Romero to either blame or praise for New Japan Strong related booking decisions. But, like, this is a bad one.
Yeah, I just really don't get it with Jack Perry. I feel like he's just another one of those talents where, like, no matter what company uses him and no matter how you use him, heel, babyface, he's bland to me. It's not even about size, and I honestly don't even think his look is that bad. Hell, remember, there was a time when him and Luchasaurus were, a tag team and tag team champions. I thought, "Oh, maybe they've even got, like, another, like, Bryan Danielson," but then he opened his mouth, and I'm like, "Oh my god, he really just cannot cut a promo." And his promos are by the numbers, sometimes even just straight up toxic, like toxic masculinity and stuff like that stuff. And it's like this dude's dead in the water. I really, yeah, I don't really think you can get much value out of this dude.
Yeah.
Um,
So this
so
show is a relatively recent start. It actually just like the main show itself actually just started at like 10 p.m. for us. I think the pre-show came on at like 9 or 9:30. So we're only just a match or two into it. When you and I went live, it was right at the beginning of the second match on the main show, which was Mascara Dorada and Volador Jr. versus Rocky Romero and Soberano Jr. I didn't have any interest in that match anyway, so we're not missing anything there. Then they're going to be doing TJP versus David Finlay, which like, oh my god, please get away from me. And then the strong openweight tag titles are being defended. The current champions are the Gorillas of Destiny, which is not even the interesting Gorillas of Destiny. It's Hikuleo and El Phantasmo defending against Clark Connors and Alex Coughlin. Then finally, we're getting Julia's match. She's defending against Trish Adora. I would like to watch that. Hopefully, we get done here before that comes on, but I have my doubts. They're doing a Matt Riddle match. He is teaming up with a TBA to take on the TMDK team of ZSJ and Bad Dude Tito. Jesus Christ. Eddie Kingston is defending the AEW Triple Crown Championship against Gabriel Kidd. Good lord. And then the only two matches on the show, other than the Julia match, that I'm actually actively interested in are Shingo Takagi versus John Moxley, and the main event Okada Osprey.
all right, well, you know what, bro? Don't discount that we might get done here because I'll tell you when it comes to especially Raw, like I said, because we are not, and I'll say this again, a recap show in this series. We only really talk about what's interesting. With
Yeah.
Raw, I really didn't find much interesting this week, so that'll be quick. NXT, while it was good, I'm only really gonna have to talk at length about the true main event, and I guess the main event following the true main event, and some other things too. So NXT might be the lengthiest as far as that. Dynamite, I'll have to scan it through. And SmackDown was also good last night. So I really don't think I'll put it to you this way. I don't think we'll be here nearly as long as we were last week.
Yeah.
But I will say, Stardom flex to start the new year. Very happy with where Stardom's going right now. We have Starlight Kid, number one contender for the Wonder of Stardom Championship. That Wonder Rumble was fantastic.
Yes.
And
Both
Saya
Rumbles
Kami,
were fantastic. The problem with the
yes,
World Rumble is that Nanae sullied it.
yes, yes. But the World Rumble, my God, what a final two. Mina Shirakawa and Kamitani, who I won't speak for anybody else here, but for me are a fight forever pair. I can never get tired of watching those two wrestle. It was amazing. But Saya Kamitani emerged victorious. She is the number one contender for the world title. It's finally happening, Kamitani fans. She's getting her world title match against Micah. Micah's first defense. It's going to be February 4th, I believe, in Osaka. So that should be absolutely fantastic. Again, I just think Stardom's in a really great direction. There are still some things. God's Eye won the Triangle Derby. So Shuri, Ami Sourei, and Mirai, who had just dropped the Wonder title, are now the artist champs.
Yeah.
DDM has disbanded, which again further substantiates that Julia, she's just bouncing.
Mm-hmm.
She's gone. But I will say, overall, I continue to love Stardom. I'm so excited, especially for the two main titles. Oh, and Crazy Star are challenging Aphrodite for the Goddesses Championship. And as far as the tag tournament goes, Aphrodite actually did successfully retain against Eye Contact, Hanan and Mayu. Hanan, who's also having a strong start to the year, making it into a tag tournament final with Mayu. And then before that, being in the final two with the Wonder Rumble with Kids. So already, I know a lot of people are looking at Natsupoi, but I'm also looking at Hanan as a potential favorite to win Cinderella this year. Because Stardom very clearly is like behind her. And I'll tell you, Hanan's proven worth the investment because I just think she's really grown in the ring, loving her look. And yeah, it's just really been a good time for her. So yeah, I think Stardom's also doing well. Do you have anything you want to say about Stardom on your own side of things before we really get into the formal breakdown here of the week of what we usually cover week to week?
No, not about Stardom.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, then let's get into let's get oh wait, Javaris is correcting me. No, they aren't. Suzu's gonna miss that show due to illness and being replaced by Oz. Okay, well, fair enough. So I'll put it to you this way, Javaris, so that I can rephrase my statement. They intended to challenge Aphrodite for the Gods Championships, but everybody now is instead of getting injured, they're getting sick because we know Momo Watanabe is also dealing with COVID, and I hope that's going well for her because COVID is not fun. I speak from experience. So now, with that said, let us get into Collision. And I have been steaming this whole time because I read in the Discord that Dustin freaking Rhodes beat Willie Mack on Collision.
Clean as a whistle.
Willie Mack, who I will go out on a limb and I will say is probably one of the most underrated workers in the game right now. And so yeah, I am livid for him because I loved him in Lucha Underground. Even when he was feuding with Johnny Mundo, and you all know that I love Johnny Mundo. I was happy for Mac that he got that rub, and now he's losing to this guy that has no business being in a wrestling ring in 2024. I don't really care to understand anything anymore when booking is like this. This was offensive to me to even see it. I can't imagine how it was to you to watch it and to kind of experience it on that level. I am so sorry. And yeah, just screw Dustin Rhodes. So I thought I would rip the band-aid off so you wouldn't have to because you already suffered enough having seen it.
Yeah.
Um,
It was
what else have
offensive. It was offensive.
it and you have every right to be offended. Your face
Yeah.
deserved better and every wrestling fan deserved better.
Do you know what else
Um,
was offensive about AEW Collision tonight?
what was that?
Kevin Kelly on commentary.
Oh yeah, they platformed him. That was a choice. I'd say a poor
A
choice,
poor
but
one,
yeah,
yeah,
certainly.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, certainly a choice. I saw Edge continued his open challenge.
I
The
was
open
so upset that I missed this fucking match. God damn, I have to go back and rewatch this.
because who did he face?
Lee Moriarty,
Oh, wow. Damn.
and they got
Yeah, we've been
they
yeah.
got like 10 plus minutes too.
Wow. Yeah. Good for Lee Moriarty. I mean, absolutely. I wish they would platform him a lot more. I mean, my God. Um,
I know, dude.
anything
That's
else?
what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like Lee Moriarty, literally tonight, Lee Moriarty tweeted like right before AEW went on the air. It was okay. It wasn't right before. It was earlier today. It was at 12:50 p.m. today. He tweeted doubleheader tonight on TNT, and like I'm just so used to all of my favorite people in AEW that I follow on Twitter tweeting advertisements for their shows. So I was feeling froggy, and I was like, "Are you going to be on either show?" I replied to his ass. He was, and I
Nice.
missed it.
Not nice. But
No,
hopefully you can you can find the match somewhere online and watch it because I know, I mean, you've definitely been an advocate for Lee Moriarty and you sold me on him because the more I saw him, I'm like, yeah, AEW should be using this guy a lot more. Um, I'm telling you, that All Black Wrestling promotion, Ashe, right, is how it's pronounced.
I'll say
I don't
yeah.
want to Ashe, yeah. Sooner it gets up and running, better it is for all of us because Jesus Christ, racism in pro wrestling is got to go. So anything else on Collision that you would just feel the need to talk about or want to give an opinion on?
Um, let's see. I'm trying to remember what else happened on the show. I feel like oh yeah, that's right. Battle of the Belts was tonight, but I didn't watch that shit.
Isn't that currently even in progress right now?
it might be, it might have wrapped up by now. It was like a 10 to 11 thing, I believe.
Yeah. Oh my. Well, please, because they did some build up for that on Dynamite that I'm like, oh
I
god.
do have some good news though. The opening match was Big Bill and Ricky Starks defending the tag titles against Le Sex Gods in a street fight, and they actually retained.
I figured they would, but I'm still happy to hear it.
Yeah, because we were all
Um,
worried in the Discord. We were all worried in the Discord that the Sex Gods were going to win the tag titles, and they didn't.
Because, bro, we'll just tie this together this way. I wanted to talk about it later. On Dynamite, one thing that just made me groan was that Sammy beat Ricky Starks after, I believe, like a super kick and then pulling him into a crate. It was such a weird finish. Like, even the people in the bake chat where I like watch this were like, what the hell was that finish? And then they do the post match, beat down him and, Starks and Big Bill. And then Jericho comes out, his music doesn't stop playing because I think they wanted to make sure that you couldn't hear any boos if anybody wanted to boo Jericho, given the recent mess he's found himself in.
Yeah.
And he was being all, trying to be a badass with his bat, fighting off the tag champions with Sammy. And I'm like, God, yeah, AEW to me, like, again, when you platform guys like this is what made it worse than last week to me.
Yeah.
But I just also wanted to tie that together since that ties the Battle of the Belts. Anything
Oh,
else?
speaking of, well, actually, you said Battle of the Belts. I was going to say, though, going back to Hard to Kill, we have a couple new developments out of that. So, first of all, Moose is the new TNA World Champion. He beat Alex Shelley for the belt. And guess who showed up after the show end, or after the match, I should say, was over?
Who?
Nick Nemeth.
Oh my god.
Dolph Ziggler's in TNA.
I thought it was bad enough when he was potentially in New Japan, but now he's like,
I'm
"Oh
telling,
no."
dude, yeah, he's gonna work both of them. Oh yeah, that was another thing about Hard to Kill tonight is that they made this big deal out of TNA being in partnership with AAA, and I'm like, you're a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
How many
Um,
times have we said that AAA is TNA of Mexico?
yes, very true. Now it's finally happened. Um, so I guess there really wasn't much else to say about Collision, so I guess we could very briefly, because again, I didn't watch Rampage. Was there anything worth talking about on Rampage that you want to comment on?
Oh yeah, there was one other thing that I liked about. Well, I shouldn't say that I liked that I, you know, had feelings about on Collision. Deonna Purrazzo had her in-ring debut for AEW against Red Velvet.
Oh, well, I like Red Velvet, so how was the matchup?
Dude, that's literally what I was about to say. Is I think Red Velvet's the better performer.
Yeah, yeah,
Unironically, I
yeah.
think Red Velvet is better than Deonna Purrazzo. Like, look, don't get me wrong, Deonna's good in some ways, but like she gives off really, really arrogant vibes. And I don't just mean like, oh, it's her gimmick, she's a heel, whatever. I literally mean like, as a person, she comes off like she thinks that she knows best. And like, if whoever's in the ring with her just does what she, like, if they just follow her lead, the match will be great or whatever. And like, it just doesn't come off well to me.
She low key, now I want to be very careful what I say about other people because obviously I don't know anything for certain, but she just gives vibes
Yes.
that she, kind of throws her weight around in the locker room.
She
I don't know.
gives my shit don't stink vibes.
Yeah. Now again, maybe we're off base, but that's why we're saying it's a vibe. Vibes can be wrong.
Yeah, but
But
I do like, yeah, like seeing the match tonight. I do think Red Velvet is just the better performer between the two of them, and I don't think that Red Velvet is like anything special as a performer. I don't think she's an amazing performer, but I do think she's pretty good, and I think that Deonna Purrazzo is pretty decent too. But like Deonna on the mic is a disaster, and Deonna in the ring is really not all it's cracked up to be.
yeah, I would co-sign. I think it's a shame that I think where Deanna gets by is that because she has been working so long, like her name has attained a kind of value where it's
Yeah.
it's funny because I wish Red Velvet's name had that kind of value because from what I've seen her work, she's like really good. So yeah, I sympathize with you there. So then shifting gears then to Rampage because you said that was the only other thing about Collision you wanted to comment on. Anything from Rampage that you liked or just felt like, oh god, I have to talk about this because it was so
I
bad or
feel
like
like I
anything.
remember watching Rampage and being like, this isn't bad. This is actually kind of solid. Um, we got Swerve versus Seidel. That was kind of a whatever match. Oh, we got Sheeta versus Aminata. I'm really becoming a fan of Queen Aminata, man. She's really good. I like her a lot.
That's really cool. I'd like to see more of her stuff too because I liked her match with Mariah for sure.
Yeah, I like her. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. We got fucking three members of three former members, I guess I should say, of the Jericho Appreciation Society, Hager, Parker, and Menard, versus the Dark Order.
Oh boy.
And of course, the Dark Order got the win, and it was just a nothing match to me, honestly. Rampage, you know, it's weird because they put title matches on Rampage. Like we had a Continental Crown Championship match where Eddie Kingston defended successfully, I might add, against Wheeler Yuta. And so it's like they're still trying to put something important on Rampage, and like they put Swerve on Rampage, but like we've reached the point now where Rampage kind of feels like the show that you kind of put the matches that would have been on Dark and Dark Elevation before on.
Yeah.
So kind of being on Rampage almost feels insulting. So like I almost feel like Eddie Kingston and Swerve and Sheeta and Yuta and Aminata even should probably feel insulted. Seidel probably belongs on there, and like Hager, Parker, Menard, and the Dark Order probably belong on there. But like Swerve and Eddie and Sheeta and Aminata and maybe even Yuta to a degree should all probably feel insulted for having to work Rampage. But like then we get fucking Collision, and you do shit like Hangman Page versus I forget who did he even face. He was on Collision tonight. I literally forget who he faced. I forget who he faced. Shit, Hangman Page. Who did he fight tonight? Oh, J.D. Drake. Yeah, Hangman Page fought J.D. Drake tonight. Uh, that's a Rampage match, and also Hook going into the single most important match of his career, going into the biggest test of his career, going into his first opportunity at a title other than the FTW title in his career, had a match tonight against a no-name jobber.
Yeah. So wow. So wait, you're saying that's all Collision, right? Because
Yeah,
I kind of blanked
yeah,
out a bit.
yeah, yeah. I'm getting us off track because this is like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
thinking about Rampage and it's reminding me of shit that happened on Collision tonight. So that's my bad.
Okay. So but you know what though? To be fair, with Rampage, I know Aminata and Sheeta was Rampage, and I feel like that was
Yeah.
the last thing like you mentioned from Rampage before things got off
Yes.
track. But
Yes.
yeah, I definitely want to watch more of Aminata. What else from Rampage again that you just
Nothing.
anything
Let's
you
go
want
to
to comment on?
Dynamite.
Nothing. Excellent. Okay, so for this then, I just want to give credit to the John Report, aka John Canton, because to make things easier for us going forward, I am going to be pulling up recaps so I don't have to remember, oh, hey, what happened, or deferring to Ashton. So credit to
Bro, I've been doing that
TJRWrestling.net.
for months at this point. I just use a website called WrestlingHeadlines.com. They post recaps of everything.
Well, there you go, WrestlingHeadlines.com or TJRWrestling.net for all of your best recap coverage because we do not formally own a website, nor do I think we ever will. That sounds like a fucking headache. So credit to those that do. You're the real heroes. In the words of freaking Homelander. God, I love the boys. But anyway, let us talk about Dynamite. Now this is where I could be more participatory in the conversation because, again, for the second straight week, I've watched Dynamite because my self-respect still isn't where it needs to be. So we're at Dalley's place. Crowd is hot. We begin with Paige versus Claudio. I thought it was a solid matchup. Claudio is a beast. I will say I do like how he wrestles in AEW compared to WWE. I feel like he's got a bit more of that aggression. He could show a bit more of his move set, but I still don't think he's treated like the threat that he should be. Even though I know he is an older competitor at this point, and everything the dude can still go, and the dude's still in fantastic shape. Um, I did like the finish though because it did protect Claudio. He had to eat 2 buckshot lariats for Paige to win. So Paige does get the win. So that was fun. And again, because we're not a recap show, I'm just going to go through anything that I want to talk about, good, bad, or indifferent. I will say about the Brody Lee tribute matches very quickly. I get it. And I actually thought that they did a respectful, like, little video package thing before these matches even happened. RIP Brody Lee. He was fantastic. No ill will there. The matches themselves, were okay. You kind of robbed Preston Vance a little bit because he did the discus lariat, which, I'm being honest, didn't look that good. But the camera cut away on the initial finish. You had to show it on the replay. And then Anna Jay just exists to me. I don't really care for her. I don't really see the upside of her. It seemed kind of teased that she may want to go after Julia Hart for the TBS championship. Now, Julia Hart's actually growing on me a little bit. I wish that she had better challengers. But ultimately, I think that championship is just missing Chris Statlander, more and more each and every week. So that's all I just want to say about those
I mean, it doesn't
matches.
even have to be Statlander. That championship is just missing a credible champion at all. It could be Willow, it could be Stat, it could be Rosa. Fuck, at this point, I feel like even Soraya would be an improvement for that title.
Yes. Um, Samoa Joe's promo, I liked it. Look, I already like Joe as champion, man. I saw him at the media scrum after World's End, the way he carries himself. This dude, and I mean this as a compliment, he treats pro wrestling and how he carries himself in interviews and stuff like it's boxing or UFC to me. And I honestly, I think there's something really attractive to that because he comes off credible. He's very, well spoken and
Who's
straightforward.
this
You
now?
want Samoa Joe.
Oh, right, Joe.
Because you compare it to MJF's media scrums where it's so hammed up and so gimmicky
Oh
and
my
look at
god.
me eat pickles and look at me,
I
and Joe
can't
is just
I
like,
can't tell you how little I'm going to miss him while he's gone.
I think you and me both at this point. I think he was way overexposed, and I think when you've got a champion like Joe, look, say what you want about Joe. I know people have had the criticisms of him the past couple of years, injury prone, this and that. I think he's been on a good run. I'm happy to see him with this title. I thought he cut a great promo where it's like, no, 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 no. You go to the championship committee, you submit, your bid for a title shot, you go, and then I stomp you out. Like he doesn't really fear anybody. He's like, look, go through the process. You're not gonna have to chase me down. You're not gonna do all this. Go through the process, face me, get stomped out. I love it. You have Swerve rightfully interrupt. See, this is where this segment lost me. And again, like I'd like to talk about more positives from AEW. Again, Paige Claudio, solid match. And I think there are more positives on the show I'll get to in just a second. But I have to stress, Swerve comes out. That's great. Lays down his challenge, as he should, because he's beaten Hangman Page, two straight pay-per-views, made it to the finals of actually no, the semifinals, excuse me, of like the Continental Classic in a way. It was like a block final type thing he made it to in the triple threat.
Right.
And he's just been winning. Fucking, I thought he took out Dustin Rhodes permanently. We were all disappointed when that didn't happen.
Dude,
He's,
oh
yeah,
my god, you just pissed me off all over again because the fact that Dustin is able to even wrestle tonight after what Swerve did to him at World's End. What is this, like 12 days later? It's like 2 weeks
yeah,
later, not even. And like he's back wrestling already. Like, and not only back wrestling, but beating someone of the quality of Willie Mack. Jesus Christ.
yes. Um, Foster, God, your face is perfect. He put it so economically and so perfectly. He said Joe is a hunter, but he also has gravita. God, I love that. Foster, the fact that we haven't hugged yet IRL is offensive to every sensibility in my body. But regardless, Swerve lays down his gauntlet, and it makes sense. And I'm hyped, and I'm like, let's go. And then Hangman interrupts. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, I don't even dislike Hangman. But see, this is the problem with AEW. See, because they do shit like this, and I sour on people I've liked for a long time. You and I have been fans of Hangman for a long time, going back to his Ring of Honor days, for God's sakes. And I feel like they're ruining him for me by this asinine booking where you put him in the ring with a guy that already beat him at two straight pay-per-views. Now, I'm not the brightest, bulb in the fucking box, and God knows I have my own problems. But I think I know Wrestling 101. And Wrestling 101 says when you lose two straight pay-per-view matches, you go to the back of the line. So what the hell is he doing? And then not only that, but Swerve, who comes out with Mogul Embassy, right? This whole thing, he's got his entourage. They cede the ring to him. And I'm like, what the hell is this? So I hated it. I hated it. And then, Hangman is pretty much like, oh, I took my eye off the ball last year, but I'm going to get the title back and I'm going to be the one to take it from you. So they're making it seem like, oh, Joe's like first really big defense is going to be Hangman. And then we do get the tease, the Hook signal. Hook comes out. He's like, I want a shot at you, Joe. So on one hand, to give this segment some praise, Joe is fantastic, but that's not AEW. That's Samoa goddamn Joe, and it has been for as long as I've seen him wrestle and work. Um, the only good thing about the booking, even though I think they did it totally wrong, was that it did show that Joe is a marked man. There are a lot of people coming after that title. You really made the championship feel and the division feel like it is a weighty division. Like it's got a lot of people kind of colliding and stuff like that to get a piece of Joe. Personally, though, I would not have had Swerve cede the ring to Hangman because that projects the idea of a hierarchy. The idea that Swerve is below Hangman after their feud is utterly ludicrous to anybody that watched it. And I just
Except
reject
for
that premise.
racists.
Except for racists, but when the fuck is their opinion ever mattered? Oh, wait, that's right, when they hold the pencil. Go back to Barry. You know what? No, 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 I don't want to get us sued. I'm going to stop right there before I say anything else. So that was that segment. Lot to be angry about if you're me and you get way too worked up about this sort of stuff. Roderick Strong faced Brian Keith. I really didn't pay complete attention to this. But it was, whatever. Swerve won, or excuse me, Strong won with the end of Heartache Backbreaker.
Hell
Uh,
yeah.
Adam Cole cut another promo. Thank
Brian
God
Keith
he's.
was good though. I like Brian Keith, man.
I should watch more of him because I'll admit that I like again, I wasn't as attentive to this match as I probably could have been, but dude, at this point, AEW was going on so long, and I'm like, God, it's losing me. Thank God Cole was attractive. I keep wanting to say Swerve. Thank God Cole was attractive because he pretty much cut the same promo here. Not too big of a problem, but I just miss seeing Cole work, and I'm sure he misses working too. So I'm not alone in that. Um, and let's see here. What else? Because, like I said, we're not a recap show, so I'm just thinking about anything that I could comment on substantively. This fucking tag match. God damn it, we're at the main event. Oh my god.
Oh
You know what?
boy.
I'm not gonna waste too much time on this. Because again, I really do want to keep my promise dashing and myself, honestly. I've got better things to do than talk about fucking AEW that he can watch Julia perform a battle in the valley here. Ric Flair got in the ring at some point in this match, guys. And he was throwing knife edge chops to Hobbs. Now, I want to take a moment here to say that Hobbs is a better person than I am, significantly, because I would have killed this motherfucker. Like Ric Flair being anywhere near a wrestling ring in 2024 after everything, and even if he was squeaky clean, just being as old as he is offensive to me.
Yeah.
And the idea that Hobbs didn't just shoot Larry at him and break his fucking neck shows that he's a better man than I am. Uh, Ric Flair really thought he was doing something. I wanted him to take a table bump so fucking bad, bro. Oh my God. But of course, my sadistic dreams never come true because the universe keeps telling me, go to therapy, John, to which I reply, don't tell me what to do. Fucking Takeshita keeps being a beast. I like Hobbs too. And in fact, I'll give credit to Jim Ross. Feels like it's been a long time since I could say that. He really put Hobbs over. He said, "There's no telling how high the ceiling can be for Powerhouse Hobbs," because he said, like, he's one hell of a prospect, uh, bringing all the praise to Hobbs that you could bring, right? And I really appreciated that because I'm like, somebody should build this dude up. He ends up eating the pin. Now, granted, I will be a fair man, and I will say that he took an elevated scorpion death drop, off a platform through a table. Pretty sure anybody would be pinned by that. But also, how did Sting not die? Second of all, fuck old people beating younger people. And just, I knew, see, dude, the moment that Don Callis was like, oh, they're going to do a tag match next week after Takeshita destroyed Darby Allin, I'm like, well, Darby and Sting are getting the win back. Like, I couldn't even be excited that Don Callis's family were really going to get heat beating Darby and Sting, well, and really just emphasis on Darby, because again, last week was only a singles match, 2 straight weeks. No, 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 we don't do that. Hell, even the heaters that we try and make like Swerve, we still bitch them out because we don't know what the fuck we're doing. So no, of course they had to get the win back. And then they're all in the ring. Ric Flair's in the ring. I'm surprised he hasn't melted into the ring. Fucking Henry Kissinger looking ass. By the way, happy he's dead at least. At least the universe did something right there. And, Tony Schiavone asks, oh, Sting, what's your retirement match going to be? Now, I have been thinking that it was just going to be Sting and Darby one on one. You're going to do the passing of the torch thing, and Sting would tell him, it's got to be showtime for Darby Allin now, but I got to know that you're ready
Man,
before I
that would be
leave. And
so self-indulgent. God, I would hate that. It can't possibly be that, right?
I mean, well, no, no. And actually, here's the thing: I wouldn't be thrilled about it either because anybody that knows me should know my opinions about Darby Allin by now. But then this music hit, and I was like, "You've got to be fucking kidding me!" The Bucks come out.
Yeah.
And
No,
I'm like,
it's not what you thought it was going to be. They somehow managed to make it worse.
yeah, I'm glad you said it so I wouldn't have to. Now here's the thing, and I will be a fair man. Apparently Sting had creative control over his retirement, as he should. And this was his choice. I'd love to know his thought process because I viscerally reject this, but it's his retirement, not mine. Have fun with it, Sting. I do not give a single shit about this. I have been so over the Young Bucks for what feels like 10 years, but it's probably only closer to like 5 or so. I've been totally checked out on these guys. Darby Allin, I've straight up called a sociopath on here, and I stand by that. That is one thing
I
that
was
I'm
going
not
to say
afraid to say because
correctly.
Yeah, correctly. That's one thing. I may stop myself on some things. That's something I wholeheartedly believe. You can fight me on that shit. And Sting is just Sting. He's one of the few legends that like I'm okay with, but I'm pretty sure he's probably a piece of shit too if you dig deep enough, because seemingly every legend is. So that was Dynamite, everybody. Um, Actually, I sped through that so fast. I'm so sorry, bro. I didn't consider you at all. Did you even watch like Dynamite, or was there anything from what I said that you would want to comment on
I
any
did. I
further?
did kind of like have Dynamite on in the background, and I was in a call with some of the guys for a while for most of Dynamite. I think I missed that first match. The match that I was the most excited about on Dynamite ended up being kind of a nothing match. That was the Gates of Agony, Brian Cage and Lance Archer versus Preston Vance, Orange Cassidy, Dustin Rhodes, and Adam Copeland. You know, the Mobile Embassy gets bitched out way more than they should. Gates of Agony and Brian Cage are too fucking cool to lose as much as they do. I'm thankful that they are the ROH six-man tag team champions, and they did win a match tonight on Collision against Lance Archer and I forget who he was teaming with. But it was the Righteous. It was the Lance Archer and the Righteous. Another cool team. I really like the Righteous too, actually.
Nice.
That was a really good match. I actually forgot about that, but that was another really good thing that happened on Collision tonight. But still, Gates of Agony and Cage, man, they are really treated as like lower mid carders, and like they just, man, they're just not booked very well at all. Um, I don't think I have anything else to say about anything else that happened on the show, though. Honestly,
All right, then moving on to SmackDown. I will just say straight away, loving Nick Aldis as the authority figure.
yeah.
I love that he doesn't take Roman Reigns as shit because it actually feels like Roman has a foil with how powerful he's become. And he's sticking by the Fatal Four Way. I know Roman told Paul Heyman, to fix it. So we open SmackDown with Solo and Jimmy laying waste to poor Cameron Grimes, who was meant to have a match with Grayson Waller. So Cameron Grimes gets taken out. They go to the ring. And Paul Heyman says, we're not the bad guys for this. The bad guys are, is Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis comes out and he more or less says, look, I'm tired of you guys ruining matches that we have planned for the show. These people in Arkansas, they came out, they braved the cold to come here and get a show. Well, they're going to get a show tonight because it's going to be LA Knight, AJ Styles, and Randy Orton versus the entire bloodline, meaning, Jimmy, Solo, and Roman. Heyman gives a face and he's like, that Roman Reigns is not here tonight. Classic Paul Heyman delivery. And Nick is like, oh, damn, Paul, you're right. He's not here. Well, I guess that means you guys got to find a third partner. And if you don't, yes, it's going to be a 3-on-2 handicap match. I love that this dude does not give a fuck. He's like, look, I ain't kissing no ring. What do you think this is? And so he leaves that with them. I will say, thinking back on this show, the only nitpick I have, and this is a very solid SmackDown, they didn't follow up with Ashanti's angle. It would have been funny if Ashanti was the mystery partner for them.
That
Just
would
be
have been
like,
interesting. Yeah, wow.
yeah, let me audition for the bloodline kind of thing. Because yeah, they didn't follow up with his storyline. I hope they're not dropping it already. I want to see what they can do for him.
Yeah.
But then, my friend, we get daddy time because it's a video package of Santos talking about his upgrade, Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. A real family that really celebrates tradition and honor and values. And he talks about how the weak are consumed by the strong, and God, he's so right. And and again, he spoke about honor and tradition, which I mean, Oscar wouldn't know anything about. And yeah, Santos said their code will prevail, and yeah, it's Legato's time now. It's a Legato world order. That's your LWO. So then we get Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wild, aka the Traitors. It's funny that Carlito's in the group because you could call them the Backstabbers versus
Oh,
Angel and Umberto.
and
And
this, yeah, it was. I liked this match a lot.
dude, this should be the blueprint for what your tag division should aspire to be. This match popped off.
Yeah.
Um, Being totally serious, I give big ups to all four guys in this, and I'll tell you something, man. I never thought we'd see the day, but between his NXT performance at New Year's Evil and this time it's tonight, Joaquin Wild is really turning a corner with me. I'm like, this dude's got a motor on him, man. He's really going out there, and it's like I'm stealing the freaking show. And Cruz del Toro's always been solid. I think even low key underrated to a
Dude, I
degree.
know. I remember how awesome he and Umberto were as a tag team in NXT. They were awesome.
Yeah, and Angel and Umberto together were awesome here.
Yep.
Um, at first I thought, oh God. LWO is gonna win because that treacherous fucking interloper
Dude,
Carlito,
dude,
his
Carlito is such a heel to me. Holy shit, I hate him so much.
dude, right? His music hits, and then he attacks Santos from behind. First of all, okay. You little shit. You want to play it like that? Okay. Let's talk about the fact that what Santos was wearing while doing commentary better than Kevin and Graves combined, which, by the way, and on a more serious note, do you think Kevin Patrick is getting a little bit too much hate? Because I saw Michael Cole trending. I think he's doing a fine job. I actually like him as play by play. That's just me.
It's
But
weird because Kevin Patrick to me is exactly what every commentator should aspire to be, which is to say he blends into the background, he doesn't say anything annoying, he gives you the information you need, and that's it. That's all I need out of my commentators. If you do more, you run the risk of being annoying as fuck. Like, I don't know, Booker T, JBL, Matt fucking Striker. Please give me boring over those fucks any day of the goddamn week.
absolutely. And so, Carlito, you piece of shit. Let's just talk about the fact that what Santos was wearing while doing commentary, which you couldn't do because you're too much of a mark for yourself, probably costs more than your entire house. Okay, that's because Santos is a successful man and he knows how to manage his wealth. Also, that could be a lesson for Ric Flair, you goddamn octogenarian. I hate him so much.
Dude,
But
he needs to go.
well,
Wait, is he
yeah.
an octogenarian?
I mean, he looks like it, doesn't he?
He's
Even
a
if he isn't,
septuagenarian.
he's so close though. And I mean, that
He's
skin's so leather. I mean, god
74.
damn. But yeah, Santos got jumped for no reason, and people that are like, Carlito's in the right. We've seen
That
what
is
makes you
being
cheer.
long taste.
Yeah, we've seen what makes you cheer. That doesn't really need a retort. But in the end, though, justice prevailed because Angel and Umberto, they won the match. Because of course they did. So, sorry to hear that, Cruz del Suckbag, and I don't know how to do a derivative of your name, Joaquin, but fuck you too, I guess. And yeah, there we go. After that, let's see. Kevin Owens called out Logan Paul, so we're gonna follow that up next week. Logan Paul did a promo, don't care. He was like, I'm gonna sue because of the shiner you gave me. Shut up. You know you're already being sued because of how you scam people. Um, and then we get a video package, Butch and Tyler Bate. That's cool. Just happy to see Tyler Bate on SmackDown. It seems like Butch is going to go back to being Peter Dune.
Bro,
So,
Logan
cool.
Paul trying to think of promo material. God, I can't believe I'm being sued for all the money that I totally earned. Rightfully, it's clearly mine and I earned it and I deserve it. I should I should try and figure out what I'm going to write for my next promo in WWE. Wait a minute, I'm a genius.
Yeah. Foster, I just want to know that Santos isn't going to come between us because he just said maybe Santos should get over it. I'm not used to someone so beautiful having such an incorrect take. I don't know what to do about this. So I'm going to spiral quietly in my own face while I work that out. Meanwhile, we get the best angle in my mind, not just on SmackDown, but possibly in all of WWE to me, Damage Control, because we get Bianca
Yes.
versus Bailey.
Oh,
How'd you
I
feel
could
about this
not
match, bro?
wait to talk about this with you.
Yeah, you go first then, man. If you were excited, I want to hear you talk about this first.
Oh, dude, I loved this so much. So we get the match between Bailey and Bianca, and all of the rest of Damage Control is at ringside. And the finish sees Bailey throw Bianca out of the ring and start selling her knee in the ring like she's hurt, and gets the ref's attention that way. And the rest of Damage Control just stand there and look at Bianca. They're just staring. They're like, "Hi, Bianca, how you doing?" And Bailey is looking and seeing this, and she's like, "Attack her! What are you doing?" And she starts like egging him on, like using hand motions, like, "Do it, do something, help me!" And they're just standing there, not doing anything. And next thing you know, the ref realizes what's going on, and he goes over to the rest of the damage control. He's like, "Hey, you four aren't doing anything, are you?" And they're just like holding their hands, like, "No, we're not doing anything. What are you talking about?" And Bailey goes out and gets Bianca and brings her back into the ring. And this is what leads to Bianca winning with the KOD. And then later on in the night, we get to see Bailey backstage with damage control. And Dakota kind of pulls her to the side, and we get this perfect camera angle that shows the framing of Dakota on one side and Bailey on the other side in the foreground, with the other three members of Damage Control, the three Joshis in Damage Control, in the background, talking all the shit while Dakota explains to Bailey that they just want to make sure that she's capable of doing this kind of thing on her own, because in the Royal Rumble, it's every woman for herself, and they still want her to win the Royal Rumble and then go beat Rhea Ripley for the Raw Women's title. It's
Yes.
perfect. I love it so much. This is one of the best stories that WWE has done in the last 5 years outside of the Bloodline.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I mean, bro, first of all, credit to Bailey and Bianca. I think they always have solid matches. They work well together. Bailey sold that KOD so well at the end. I
Yeah.
mean, she looked out. Um,
I
loved
think
damage
Bailey is
controlling.
also doing a really good job of selling like I it's weird to say this because I know for a fact that she isn't because of how damn good her performances have been lately, but she's almost kind of selling like she's washed. Like
Yeah.
she's lost so much in the last year and a half, and she like the way that she carries herself, it almost looks like she is like totally exhausted, totally beaten down, totally ready to just give up at this point. And it's going to make it that much sweeter when she wins the Royal Rumble and then wins the title at Mania.
First of all, I just want to welcome Superior Paul to the chat. You definitely earned your moniker of Superior after the horrible night that Inferior Paul had on Friday, not able to recruit a damn person to this fucking tag team for the Bloodline. And also, I love you. So now that that's out of the way, we can get back to damage control here. And I completely agree with your sentiments, bro. I mean, Bailey's been doing a great job. Like I said, she sold the KOD like death. I have to give credit to EO. I know you always do. You adore EO, but from my side, not only is she amazing in the ring, but dude, I think one underrated part of EO that I'm appreciating more and more each week, the faces she can serve, my dude.
Yes.
Oh my god, like disgust
Yeah.
being over it.
That's her
What are you doing?
specialist, or that's her specialty, I mean.
Yeah, like I've said, I used to say, especially in the early days of TwitWoW, like there's more than one way to cut a promo, and you can cut promo, through facial expressions and body language. And I do think a lot of these Joshi women who have somewhat of a command of English, it's not like it's non-existent, but maybe isn't as strong as it could be to rely on that alone, really do animate and orient their bodies to convey the message. And Io, I think, is telling so much of the story just through her face alone. And I mean that as the highest compliment. What people can't even do in words she does with expressions. It's
Mhm.
incredible. It's honestly incredible.
Yeah, I
Uh,
actually do agree with Foster here. He said Bailey might pull a Batista and turn face by attacking or betraying or attack or turning on damage control before they turn on her. I fully think that's what's going to happen. I think Bailey turns on them before they get a chance to turn on her. Now, she'll lose that fight. Like, if she tries to attack them before they try and turn on her, she's losing that battle. She's going to get beat
yeah,
down, but she's going to be the one to initiate it, I think. I think she is going to be the one to realize, like, oh shit, like I'm being used and being treated like shit, and like I really think that she's going to be the one to actively turn face. I don't think she's going to turn face because she gets beat down. I think she's going to make the decision to turn face on her own merits.
right. I'm still working out my opinions on that. I think I'll come to a final determination for Royal Rumble preview and predictions, baby. Already plugging the content. It's gonna be insane. Um, but yeah, and then Dakota followed it up with an Instagram post saying damage control forever, and it was her, Io, Coyote, and Asuka in the foreground, and Bailey was in the background. And that's something I want to circle back to DBK's comment that he had in the chat, which I completely agree with. He said, I enjoy WWE's production like quality more since Dunn has been gone. I agree. I feel like the cinematography's gone up a few notches here. Like even on NXT, which I don't know if it's the same person across brands or if it's different people, but whoever they are getting for each camera, it's working because they're definitely telling part of the story through the camera as well. And you've got to use every asset you've got. And I feel like they're really finally using the camera and it's paying dividends. So yes, this is the best thing SmackDown's got going. And again, I think one of the best things, like you said, in the company, it's freaking awesome. So then we get Bobby Lashley and the Profits, kind of talking about, everything that happened with them and being attacked. And then I think there was like a video package where Elwaring kind of responded. And oh, yeah, their name is the Final Testament. So it's rumored that Lashley and the Profits, they're called the Pride. And now we know that Authors of Pain and freaking Cross, they are the Final Testament.
Oh, see, from what I
Okay.
understood, the authors of Pain were now called the Final Testament, but that whole faction, including Cross and Scarlet, were called like the End. I want to say, or something like that.
Interesting, then I stand corrected. Either way, look, I'm always down for a good faction warfare storyline. I just wish that I cared about Cross. Like, I'm even more intrigued by AOP at this point than I am about Cross, and they just came back.
Yeah,
I just really do not care about Cross at all. I do like
he sure is
Lashley and the Profits.
trying though, isn't he?
he she try and get out of my face. Um, but I will say, Lashley, I love the swagger that this dude has got because Heyman tries recruiting him, and he's like, Bobby, we've known each other for so many years, tag with us tonight. And he's like, yeah, you're right. But the only time I want to be, standing in the room with Blow is when I'm standing across from Roman Reigns for the undisputed Universal Championship. And Heyman gave this face like, oh God, another person to worry about. God damn it. That's why he's inferior, Paul. Know your fucking place,
How
Paulsworth.
many L's can one man take in a single night? Jesus.
I know, and there was only one in his name. I mean, Jesus Christ, my dude, get it together. I mean,
I mean, even
Paul
if you
Ellering,
include his
yeah,
last name, there's still only one.
yeah. I mean, Paul Ellering, on the other hand, has three L's in there, and really, I wouldn't even say he's taking one. I mean, associating with Cross, I mean, that's definitely questionable, but he's doing all right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, as far as matches go, we got Carmelo Hayes again, otherwise known as Fake Friend Ass,
Oh,
against Austin Theory. Thank goodness both
really
guys.
unfortunate finish to this one.
Yeah, because this was the ref stoppage. Thankfully, both men only suffered facial contusions, and so neither
Which
man is
basically
hurt.
just means, like, bruises on their faces.
Exactly. Then we get our tag team main event. Unfortunately, LA Knight wasn't taken out because, God forbid, I'm happy. Instead, though, Randy Orton got his throat thumbed, and that made him wheeze a lot and go to the back. So then it was just a standard tag match for a while, AJ and LA Knight versus Solo and Jimmy. But then Randy comes out later in the match and is like, I'm going to do things. And they do end up winning. I actually love the finish because Randy eats a super kick, but he knows how much the super kick's been nerfed in 2024, so he immediately just responds with an RKO. Like, yeah. And then afterwards, there's a bit of a kerfuffle, but everybody, Orton, Knight, and Styles, like all hit their finishers on Solo, which is funny because I had told Sean in the Discord, Jimmy's about to eat every finisher for real. But no, it actually makes more sense for it to be Solo because he's the heavy. He is the tribal prince for his recent promotion. And they actually ended, and I wonder if this was intentional, with like a shield power bomb to Solo through the announce table. And so, yeah, I really can't wait for LA Knight to eat the pin at Rumble. That's kind of what I've got, going on in my mind and in my heart. I'm like, he's gonna eat the pin again. Just so that I have something further to taunt Super Blue about. But we'll have to see how it goes. Babyfaces win the tag match for now, although I don't know how much of a babyface Allen is, because do you see the exclusive that he had with Mia Yim or Mishin? She
No, oh yeah, I didn't actually see it, but I've heard that he was like kind of hostile towards her.
dude, look, Mia's awesome and everything. Love her. Loved her match with EO last week. Again, if you guys haven't seen it, you really should go back and watch it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But I love this here because she's like, "Oh, did you watch my match? You got any tips for me?" And he just looks at her like I was spending alone time with my slacks. And he just says to her, "Did you win?" "No." And he leaves her there with it. What a douche. God, I've never
Fabulous. Wow, Alan. Wow.
God, Alan, flatten my Earth King. God damn. Fuck.
Holy shit.
I mean, am I thirsty? Yes. Unequivocally, yes.
It's
Um,
worse when we take into account that you're not just kind of like generically thirsty. You're specifically thirsty for douchebags.
I am like Christian, Helen. I'm ready to be disrespected.
Santos.
Santos, like I'm ready to be disrespected. Have you seen my self-esteem? Like it's all for the taking, my dudes. God damn. But no, it's amazing. I'm loving what Alan's doing right now. Personally, I'm pro slacks. If the slacks are what's making him a piece of shit, I hope he has a pair for every day of the goddamn week and every day of the goddamn year. It's it's amazing. But Ashton, I know this isn't how we normally do things, but because I loved NXT the most, and I know I'm going to be the most turned up for that, I thought we'd actually just talk about Raw before NXT, if that's okay with
Oh yeah,
you.
sure, that's fine.
Excellent. Your face is so accommodating. I love you. So we open with Drew McIntyre
What do you
and
think I'm gonna
CM
do? Be
Punk.
like, no, fuck you. We have to go in reverse chronological order, you bitch.
I would have respected it. I would have cried inside while also respecting you at the same time. So it would have been a weird, emotional.
Wow, that
Yeah.
says an unfortunate amount about you.
It really, really does. Um, so,
Jesus Christ.
so, so we get Drew and CM Punk in the ring. Um, I hate this fucking old ass, bro. Like, Drew is out here and he's cutting a great promo. I know we're all kind of like iffy about Drew's character. I still think he's a mountain of a man. I still like him. And,
I mean, he hasn't shrunk, so yeah.
yeah, I mean, he looks like he's about to take accountability, which would have been mildly unattractive because, again, douchebag, so where's doubling down?
Jesus
And
Christ.
and then he pivoted at the last second and was like, "Wait a minute, it wasn't me. It was Damian Priest," which this isn't even the end of us dogging on him because Sean dogged on him so hard at the end of NXT, I died. But yeah, he's like, "Damian, why would you try and make it a triple threat? You could have waited for me to beat Seth. Then you could have cashed in on me, and you screwed us both, you idiot." And I'm like, "How can you be so handsome and so correct? You're like hogging everything." And then, he's talking about, oh, well, maybe I should leave and refocus. Like, and he does kind of mention CM Punk. And then Punk's music hits, and God, I don't want to go in on this dude. I'd like to have level criticism towards this dude, but he just looks so fucking tired. And he sounds so fucking tired. Like, what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to look? Look, I love you people, okay? And I want to come in here and be like, you know what? Wrestling doesn't suck. I was too grumpy. And it's true. I think I was too grumpy last year. I do think part of it was on me, okay?
No.
But, like, no, I really do. I really do think part of it was my bad attitude. I had a lot happen last year, and I think I took it out on pro wrestling. But you cannot tell me, you seriously cannot tell me that this is what we deserve in 2024 in this fucking industry. Is this old fucking dude being like, "Oh, I didn't claim I wanted to make friends," and, like, I love that Drew threw back in his face that he used to always call himself the locker room leader.
Dude,
Like,
I
yes,
know.
remind him.
It's so funny too because then Punk turned around and he was like, "I've called myself a lot of things, but leader is not one of them." And then literally someone on Twitter managed to dig up an old clip of fucking I think it was Jericho and who else was it? Kenny, I think. I think it was Jericho and Kenny Omega. Or no, it wasn't
Yeah.
Omega. It wasn't Omega. It was someone else. It was Jericho and someone else. I don't remember who. Oh, Cody. It was Jericho and Cody on Jericho's podcast talking about how Punk used to literally open sentences in the locker room with, as the locker room leader. He told a story about how one time Punk said, "Guys, seriously, as the locker room leader, you need to start picking up your trash." And Booker T literally dropped a piece of trash on the floor as he said that in front of everyone. And then he said, "He's no leader of mine."
I love that we already cackled once about this story to each other, but it was so funny that we could genuinely cackle again.
And
I
we
like
could
that.
even
I love
double
that.
down on what we said the first time behind closed doors and do it in front of people and say that story makes me respect Booker T a little more.
Absolutely. And the only thing that would have made me probably just ejaculate right there would have been if he made direct eye contact while he was dropping the trash. Just looked right at
Especially
him.
if he would have gotten Punk to like Punk says, "As your locker room leader, you guys really need to start picking up." And then Booker's like, "Hey, Punk." And then he looks at him. He looks right at him, eye contact, and then he holds it up above eye level, right between them, as they're making eye contact, and drops it. "You're no leader of mine."
Shucky ducky quack quack, bitch. Um and then
Suck it, Punky, bitch, bitch.
you know what? I'm not gonna send you to your room because, like, it's bad, but just I think you deserve just a minute just to laugh privately at how good that was. So just take your time there. Um, so yeah, Punk seemingly tries to throw it back at Drew, and he ends it with, I'm gonna win the Royal Rumble. And just because I'm such a nice guy, God, he's so smart. I'm gonna throw you out last. I hate him so much. I just can't stress that enough.
He's a really
Um,
good heel, man. He's really good at getting heat. I mean, he's really hateable. I'm definitely looking forward to watching somebody overcome him. I'm not sure who they're going to book to do it though.
yeah, if he's not considered a heel internally in WWE, I have so many questions.
I mean, he has to be, right? There's There's no way he's not, right?
I love that little sound you made where it's like, I'm convincing myself, fuck you. Because it's so true. I have so much anxiety about it. I'm like, oh God, perceptions,
He's
perceptions.
he's a delusional heel, right? They're doing Bo Dallas, right?
Yeah, God, I wish. Um, don't really want to talk about Finn and Ciampa because again, we're not a recap show. Ciampa just wins. That's all we need to know.
Oh
Um,
god, yeah, Johnny even got involved too.
yeah, I love that. That DIY and Austin Theory share a theme. That's really cool.
They
All about
they
recycling.
definitely share like it's like they're like twin themes for sure.
Yeah, there's like wow.
They've got the same
Um,
DNA. They're just slightly different personalities.
the Ludwig Kaiser faced Kofi Kingston. Ultimately, it was a double count out, and then Kaiser kind of lays Kofi out after the match. So cool, yeah. Um,
I mean, yeah,
that was
this is all like going back to Kofi injuring Eichner last week, I think.
yeah. Giovanni Vinci would be the up to date name if we want to just
Oh right,
keep
yeah.
that.
Wow, God, I'm dating
I,
myself.
I'm sorry
Jesus.
because I mean you're right. I don't want to be
No,
like
it's
like
me.
that, but
It's me. I'm dating myself. But yeah, no.
yeah.
Giovanni Vinci, yeah. Kofi, like the drop kick, like injured him. So now they're just saying basically that like, see, and now I almost did it again. I almost called him Bartel.
Kaiser.
Kaiser is basically that was like the post match attack was like him getting revenge.
Yeah, here's the thing. I don't hate Ludwig Kaiser, and I do think he has upside, but I will say, just because of how they've booked Imperium since they've gotten to the main roster, it just does not feel the same without Gunther. Like he really to me, like he is the faction. Whereas you can make the same argument about Reigns. Like he is the bloodline. But yeah, like Gunther's supposed to be back next week. I can't wait for it. Fuck Nia Jax. Rhea Ripley got a huge pop though. Happy for her because people actually know that she's definitely one of the best on the roster. Uh
Hooray
Kate,
for knowledge!
Kaden well, your face has a lot of it because it's beautiful, so that doesn't really surprise me.
Whoa.
Kaden and Katana retain the tag titles. The only credit I'll give
Oh.
them, I did like the double team finish, the keg stand that they called it. That was pretty cool. So yeah. Um, our truth, our fucking truth. Dude, I am so happy for this man. Honestly, like his new T-shirt for WWE Shop, where he's got his name on the part of the Judgment Day, and like he's I guess like photoshopped in the Judgment Day group photo. It's already sold out. And you know what? Normally I don't go for this kind of comedy, but there's something so sincere about truth and so genuine. I laughed with this man. He's given this whole recap of his rise, in the Judgment Day, and being a part of the group. And he said, when I was born, I looked at the doctor and I said, one day I'm gonna be a part of the Judgment Day. And I'm like, oh my god, we're
I
doing
love
this.
him. It's a throwback to when he talked about how John Cena was his childhood hero.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
apparently, Mustafa Ali is coming to New Japan, so that's pretty cool.
That is an actual huge get for them that gets me feeling things. So that's really cool. So yeah, Truth does
Can
this
I
whole
also
thing.
just say regarding Truth, I
Yeah.
feel like him coming along, like returning at the time that he did, and having this much success as a merch mover, just couldn't have been timed better. Because, like, any time now that somebody tries to use, oh, but they've got the number one selling shirt in the company as justification for why they quote unquote deserve a push, I can point at this and be like, oh, I guess our truth should win the world title then too, huh?
Yeah, see, and it's funny you say that because I've even said on the Discord, I won't back down from this. I do think he's an over enough babyface and a hot enough act where win the world title? No, obviously not. Do I think he should be a television challenger for the world
Oh my
title like
god,
Jinder
yeah,
Mahal is
for
going to be next week?
sure.
Yeah, 100% because like they would work that crowd so hard, specifically if Priest successfully cashes in, which again, I got a lot to say about Priest, and oddly enough on the NXT show of all things, but we'll get to it. Oh god.
What?
Yeah, dude, we dogged on him so hard, it was great. I do really like Breeze, though, it's kind of unfair to him, but
Oh, because of the
it's fun.
cash in stuff. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
Uh,
Miz beat JD Douchebag, nobody cares. Jinder Mahal fucking interrupted Seth Rollins.
oh
God,
my
like,
god. Dude, can I just say, by the way,
of of
I
course.
really, really hate how many people now are like actively getting behind Jinder Mahal for world champion I feel like it makes us all look bad because, like, first of all, a vast majority of us hated his first reign and would probably hate another reign if we actually got it. So those of you that are actually rooting for it, you're you're just sincerely lacking in foresight and hindsight. Like, you're just short-sighted in general. And second of all, he shouldn't be here in the first place. Like, broken clocks can be right twice a day. Tony Khan is right in the sense that there is no reason that Jinder Mahal should be here at all. He hasn't earned shit. He just randomly showed up, started talking shit, and got gifted a world title shot for no reason other than that. Oh, he got chosen by The Rock to be the heel that The Rock interacts with to put down for his big return. That's fucking it. He's done nothing to earn a world title shot whatsoever, and I hate that he's even in this spot. Like, I feel like people have already forgotten. The last time that we fucked around with Jinder Mahal challenging for a world title, he fucking won the thing and went on like a 6-month run that included him being racist towards Nakamura. Like, I don't want this.
Yeah, I don't want it either, and anybody that does want it, I don't know you. And here's the thing, I'm all for sticking it to Tony Khan because fuck Tony Khan, but you don't need to be desperate to do it. The dude himself gives you plenty of ammo on a weekly goddamn basis that you don't need to be like, "Oh, Jinder, we got you." No, the hell we don't. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So yeah, they had that whole segment. I'm not gonna go too much into it. Ivar versus Otis was fine. Ivar had a very impressive moonsault
Hey,
to win. I do like Otis. Hate that he kind of lost this.
I was gonna say, I mean, to me, this is WWE admitting that Bronson Reed ain't it and being like, okay, well, that didn't work. Let's try again. We know who the good path of this feud is. Let's give him another hoss to fight with. And they picked a good one.
Yeah, Otis, dude, it's gonna be sour grapes for me. Just my personal petty John gripes that I've accumulated over so many years of watching wrestling that Otis never got a proper cash in to face Roman Reigns. Because obviously Roman would have retained. That's not the point. I wanted to see Otis against main event guy and to see
Right.
how the crowd would respond to him, and we never got that. I'm always pissed.
Well,
So yeah. Then this main event, which I'm only going to talk about because my God, Cody's pathological need to be liked and the way they're building this dude up, they had a street fight, if you could even call it a street fight. I found it pretty underwhelming. I didn't really feel any kind of personal animosity or like they're going to tear each other apart. I didn't really feel like any heat in that sense between these two guys. But where I say Cody's pathological need to be liked, at one point the timekeeper gets misted by Nakamura with the red mist, which is a great visual. I mean, Nakamura got all that mist on the timekeeper, so Nakamura did a great job. Um, and then Cody is like, "Oh, hey, is he okay?" Like he sees him and he's trying to call for help for the guy, and then he gets a chair to the back. Like, oh no, Cody was trying to be a hero and he paid for it. Shut the fuck up! Like I fucking hate this dude. Um, he does ultimately win the match because of course he does with a crossroads, and then Cole ends it asking the question: Can Cody be only the third man in WWE history to win back-to-back Royal Rumbles? Michael, why would you put that evil out in the universe when I've been nice to you lately? Can we all agree that I've been nice to Michael Cole lately? So why would you do this to me, Michael? Disappointed in you. All right. So then we get to NXT. Again, my personal favorite show this week. We get Donald Rump, aka Nikita Lyons, versus Blair Davenport. They kind of had a brawl backstage in the parking lot, and then it goes out to the ring. It was a pretty short matchup. Blair wins after she gets a chop block and then pretty much like a Kamigoye. So really short match, nothing really to talk about there. Um, then we get of course because Carmelo Hayes is the worst friend in WWE right now. He's talking to Trick backstage. Trick still kind of has some questions. He's like, Mello, what you did last week, I mean, that was pretty sus, homie. And he's like, look, man, we just got to keep you ready for Dragunov. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep you focused. Hey, listen, we don't know how long Dragunov's going to be out, right? And Trick's like, right? And he's like, so I just pulled a few strings. I got us the last spot in the Dusty Classic. And I'm just sitting here like, man, you are not supporting your boy at all. And even Trick is like, I don't know, man. I want to stay dialed in on this match with Dragunov. It's like, oh, but you will because, we're keeping you tuned up in the ring. No ring rust. And we're getting you in the ring with the best. And, like, by the time Dragunov comes around, you'll be the one to take the title off him. And then Trick comes around because Trick's a good-hearted dude. And, his friendship with Carmelo actually matters to him, unlike it mattering to Carmelo. So he's like, sure, let's do the Dusty Cup. That's great. And yeah, like that freaking happened. And so Yeah, I agree with Foster. Mello does need to join Damage Control, and then they can all be awful friends together. So then, speaking of the Dusty Cup,
I
we
don't see.
get
This is what I don't get. Foster keeps calling Dakota Kai a bad friend. She's a great friend to the three people she's interested in being friends with.
damn that qualifier though. Then we get our Dusty Cup quarterfinal matchup. Braun Breaker, aka Daddy Daycare, being a daycare for fucking Caillou Baldass, Baron Corbin versus Gallus. Not much to say here, although, okay, just because I'm John, and of course I'm going to do this, I need to emphasize why exactly Braun's the leader, and it's not because he's Giga Chad squared, although that's 100% true. That's the kind of math that I specialize in. It's because Braun, in his, well, actually, no, excuse me, because Baron in his infinite wisdom, thought I'm a Golden Glove boxing champ. Why don't I just punch the ring post? And he did. Because whoever was part of Gallus, I can't tell the difference between two of them because they're both fucking mid as shit. Moved out of the way, and his fist ate the ring post. Way to go there, Caillou. Way to go there. Why don't you throw a temper tantrum on the floor while the adults clean up your fucking mess again? And then Braun, having asserted dominance because that's a beefy man right there, and of course he can, was about to spear and get the win. And then Caillou was like, why don't I make a tag? Because Daddy said that I could always get the winning pins. And Braun, being just the fucking Chad that he is, remembering those times in high school when he used to shove people like Corbin in lockers, laughed it off because he knows he's superior where it actually matters, spears the other member of Gallus that isn't legal, Caillou hits the end of days and gets the pin. And so they advance, but Caillou needs to get his fucking shit together and understand that Braun's the leader. All right. So that's my opinion on that. Solid match. Pop for seeing Braun because who wouldn't? After that, we do get our first vignette. I'll just talk about this all in aggregate of the day at the ranch here for Tiffany Stratton. These weren't bad. You know, these could have been a lot worse. I actually it kind of endeared me to Fallon a bit more a little bit. I like that they've got a character on NXT that isn't like Southern, like in that bad way, but it really is like that charming, rustic, like farm girl type thing. And I think she wears it sincerely. It doesn't feel contrived. And you see Tiffany cleaning out the stalls, you know, washing the horses, and she's doing it like in these pink high heels and in like this pink fur getup. And Fallon originally had calls for her, but Tiffany insisted, like, no, I'm doing the chores in this, okay? And she does, and it ends up just being awful for her because, you know, she gets dirty everywhere because of course you do. Look at the kind of labor you're doing. And then ultimately she's like, ah, I'm done, okay? And like she goes to leave after all the vignettes are done and she falls in like I guess like this trough of water and then everybody laughs at her because laughing at another person's pain is totally healthy. So yeah, I mean, clearly. And I still think that these two are gonna be strange bedfellows for the
Yeah,
women's
I'm
Dusty
not
Cup.
gonna lie. I feel like they missed out on an opportunity here, big time. I feel like they could have used these segments as an opportunity to really organically turn Tiffany face.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I really thought and I'm glad you said this because it shows that I wasn't entirely alone in my thought process. I thought that by the final vignette, Tiffany would have come around. Like, what you know what I expected, bro, to put it a bit more clearly? I thought she was gonna bond with the horse that Fallon had her clean, and she was gonna really like the horse, and maybe the horse would have like nuzzled her or something, and she would have like felt a bond with it. And then Fallon would have seen it and she would have been like, huh, you know, maybe there is more to Tiffany than even I thought. And they would have had like this kind of subtle understanding. No, no, we're
No,
gonna go with the gags, you
see,
know, because
I didn't even think about that. I literally just thought that they were gonna have Tiffany do a hard day's work in heels and just have her complain the whole time, but beast her way through it and actually do the work and actually tough it out. And then, like, end of the day, you just see her covered in the fucking mud. She fucking blows her hair out of her face and says, well, today sucked, but I managed to get through it and I survived. What are we doing now? And then, like, maybe like Fallon is like, well, after every day at work, I like to go into the house and have a shower and then have like a nice cup of cocoa or something like that. And we get to see them like unwinding and having like a nice conversation with each other. And they realize that they have more in common than they realized. But like, no, they just straight up went comedy garbage.
I like both of our options, honestly, because I think they would have achieved the same end of like these women. Oh my god, I thought we came from different worlds, but maybe we don't. No, you do. Don't act like classism doesn't exist. You do. But I would have
Like, they could have
appreciated that
ended the night
regardless.
talking about their respective skincare routines and it would have been great.
Yeah, exactly. God, we all need a gal pal day. I'm feeling inspired after this. Let's bring some healthiness back into this. But
Right?
anyway,
That's what I'm saying though. It's like they could have bonded, but no. It's just like, I hate this and I'm bad at this and I'm not going to even try. And Fallon is just like, yeah, you're pretty much right about all that.
yeah. So then Lyra comes out and she's talking about, her next challenger because, the winner of that'll go on to NXT Vengeance Day. That's what it's called. And so what they're gonna do is, and I do think this is cool on NXT's part, they're going to do a battle royal. Then the final four women in the battle royal, that match becomes a fatal four way,
Right.
and then the winner of the fatal four way goes to Vengeance Day challenge for the
And
title.
that's this
Now, I
coming Tuesday, right?
that is correct,
Yeah.
good face. So yes, thinking about that, I did also want to say, to kind of talk about more current events. Cora Jade did seemingly get injured at a live event recently. She was my front runner to win this whole thing next week and go to Vengeance Day. I don't know if that's going to happen now. So I'm just saying that because I do wonder if Cora's still the plan, depending on what her the prognosis is, and if she can't be anymore, who the backup plan is. Lola comes out with Electra. Uh, Lola Vice comes out with Electra. Is it Lopez?
Yeah,
Electra
Lopez,
Lopez.
Electra Lopez.
Okay, yeah, because I thought I was getting things tied up, and I'm like, no, I'm right.
Yeah.
She talks her trash, and Lyra's like, all I've heard you do is talk. I was so excited when you came here because of your MMA background, but you haven't done anything. I'll tell you what, Lola, we can have that NXT Women's Championship match right now. And she calls down a referee, and Lola looks like she's game to do it. But then they just try and attack her, and then Tatum Paxley comes out because
Ah,
she's
but see,
obsessed
no,
with
they didn't necessarily try and attack her. Specifically, Electra tried to attack her to try and prevent the single cash in from happening. Electra wants Lola to use her contract for a tag title shot.
Yes. Yeah, and you know what? To Lyra's credit, she even made a reference to that
Yeah,
because, she asked Lola, "When are you gonna tell Elektra that
yeah,
you're not gonna use that for an NXT Women's Tag Team
yeah.
Championship match?"
And then when they were
It's like,
squaring up again, it was specifically Electra went after Lyra, and Lola joined in on the beatdown, but Electra was the one that initiated it.
yes.
I
Yes.
thought that was really
So,
well done. Really good storytelling there.
good stuff all around. Um, then we get, the Metaphor. They're laughing together because they're such a great
I
faction.
love the metaphor. Are they not great?
They are great. They were laughing at Brooks Jensen being a failure. So yeah, they were just laughing at that whole group breaking up. Briggs comes in and says, he feels like he deserves a rematch because the last Heritage Cup match he had with Dar ended a bit controversially, with the DQ that was only incited because Metaphor was, acting up. And so he says, he's going to prove he deserves a rematch. He goes against Oro Mensa, and it's a pretty solid matchup. Briggs ultimately does win with the lariat,
Oral
so that was
Mensa's
good.
pretty good, man. I kind of like him.
Yeah, I like him too, man. I liked what I saw here. This is good stuff.
NXT has
Um,
a very impressive crop of young, talented black athletes on that roster.
they really do, man. It's
Like
really encouraging
Oro
to see.
Mensa, Oba Femi, was it Lennox, Dion Lennox, Damian Heights? Like, god damn, they are. And I mean, even women, like they got Lash Legend, Kalani Jordan, Jakara Jack. Like they have got some really, really talented young black athletes on that roster that I cannot wait to watch their careers as they go. Because man, they are already exciting. 5, 10 years from now, we might be looking at the next crop of legends.
Yeah, absolutely. After that, we get tag team title matchup, NXT Tag Team Championships, out the mud. Lucian Prince and Bronco
Price,
Nima.
Lucian
Uh,
Price.
Lucian Price, excuse
Yeah.
me, and Bronco Nima with Scripps, who was formerly
Reggie,
Reggie,
yeah.
against Tony D'Angelo and Channing Stacks
And MJF
Lorenzo.
at home.
Wow, Jesus Christ, my dude. You want to go for the jugular anymore before I continue? I didn't think he was that bad.
No, I'm
Uh,
strictly talking about appearance here. I legitimately don't know if I've ever seen him work a match in my life.
okay, that's because man, you you really showed like I do have that dog in me. It's like nobody
No, no,
asked you to.
literally,
Like
he
what?
just looks like a knockoff MJF to me.
Yeah, I mean that's fair, but damn. Uh, yeah, this match was solid. I will say though, man. D'Angelo, and I was worried about this because it's been so long since I've like gotten back in NXT, and this is only my second week. D'Angelo is my favorite worker in this. I think everything he does is so snug. It looks good. He's got a complete move set. Like he's not going to give you that 5-star match at the Tokyo Dome for God's sakes, but like
And by the way,
he
since I
does good
was
stuff.
just talking about the young black talents, Price and Nemo are another couple of them.
Yes, yes, I like them here too.
And
And
who are the guys? Fuck. There's another really, really good black tag team in NXT that I'm forgetting their names.
are you thinking of No Fan Blade?
Yeah, Idris Enofe and Malik Blade. They're really fucking good too.
Oh, dude, they had a segment tonight. God, see, this
They
is
were
why.
showing off how ripped they were. I remember.
Yeah, with some white woman being like, "I can help you get abs." Honey, no. Like, just sit down, please. Yeah, that was an embarrassment for her. It
Yeah.
was mainly for her.
Yeah.
Nima is a beast too. I will say on OTMC, I like Out the Mud. I think they need just a little bit more time to be seasoned, but I would like to see them run this back.
Yeah,
And
he's like
apparently
the
they're gonna.
powerhouse of the two.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll tell you, they had a segment after this match because the family does retain. Where like they're in the parking lot and Scripps is kind of going over with them, like why that loss was so bad. And Jada Parker, who really gave like Zelina vibes, like wanting to light that fire on them, is like, so why'd that happen? Why'd they catch you like that? Where's your? She even
I
said like,
like her
where's your
too.
Riz?
She's
Yeah,
one of the NIL signings. She's one of the more recent ones. They just signed her in like I think 2021, maybe 22.
yeah,
I think it was 22 actually. I think it was like second half of 2022 that they just signed her because she was part of the same class as like Kalani Jordan, Izzy Dame, that group.
yeah, yeah. So I like her. I think she'll do good things for Out the Mud,
Yeah.
and yeah, I hope to see these guys again. Gigi versus Cora. I love Gigi to death, but we knew Cora was winning,
Oh,
and she does with the underhook DDT.
Gigi really
Yes,
do be the new Dakota Kai in NXT. It's painful.
she really, really does. Um, Here was a pleasant surprise for me that ended in disappointment. The other, the other Dusty Classic quarterfinal matchup, Tank and Tank versus Axiom and Nathan Frazier. I really liked Hank and Tank, man. I feel like they're like a spiritual successor to Heavy Machinery,
I kind of
and
like Hank and Tank too, but they're just so generic though.
I like their offense, man. I don't know. I thought they had good
They're
energy.
better than like Brooks Reed and or Brooks and Jensen.
Yeah,
No, Brooks is Jensen. Brooks and
Josh Briggs.
what's yeah Briggs. Brooks and or Jensen and Briggs. That's what they were called. God, I'm having a hard time. All these generic first name last name NXT names, man.
Yeah.
Brooks and Jensen, yeah. Or no, there I did it again. Jensen and Briggs. Fuck. I
Are you
might be
okay?
tilting. I'm sorry.
Well, let me take back over here. Anyway, yeah, I really like these guys. Hank and I think it's funny. They feel like a tag team straight out of like the late '80s, early
Yeah.
'90s, like just before the Attitude Era. But I really like their in-ring work. They're a lot of fun, and I got to be honest. Axiom's okay, and Nathan Frazier okay. But I just felt more of a connection to Hank and Tank than these two guys. I was disappointed when Axiom and Frazier won. I expected it, of course, because they had the little segment building up their team last week and everything else. But yeah, I feel like Hank and Tank should have gone over here personally. But yeah, Frazier and Axiom do advance. After that, we have Dragon Lee for his North American Championship match because earlier in the night he said, to Ava, who is still so awkward in this leadership position,
Dude,
that
she is such a bad talker. Oh my god.
I know, I know. Um, and yeah, I just
I know this is a weird comment to make, and this might be unhinged, and if it is, I'm sorry, but she literally grew up speaking English, and she speaks English like someone who English is a second language for her.
don't know if I'd go that far, but fair enough. Fair enough. She definitely does just seems very awkward in her delivery.
Yeah.
I just yeah, I don't feel it at all with her. Even in like a managed position, which you feel like anybody could do, really, especially when it's like minimized the way that hers is. But when she does talk, man, it's like it's nothing memorable. But yeah, Dragon Lee tells her like, "Look, I'm back. I'm ready to go to work." And then Lexus King, who somehow
Oh.
still comes off better than Ava, which shows how
Are
bad
you
she is.
sure?
No,
I was like, oh god, he's so bad.
but he's like, "Oh well, then I guess open challenges are back on, so." why not let me challenge? I can't wait to get to the proper main event because I want to pop the fuck off. I just, in the words of Light Yagami, I gotta hold it in. And Dragon Lee's like, no problem, bro. No problem. Let's do it. So they do. They do have that main event. And actually, before that, Lexus King felt the nerve, the audacity. Imagine somebody interrupting Santos. Pretty offensive, right? That's why Carlito's such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Somebody interrupted Obafemi's promo time. And like, that's not okay with me. Because this dude has a rich fucking tone. But wait, who interrupted him? Lexus King. We got a lot of Lexus King on NXT tonight, which was the worst part of the show. By far. And he was just talking about how he's gonna be the next North American champion, but he also kind of persuaded like Oba, or tried to, save that contract for the actual NXT championship, then we'll both be champions. And then Oba, just after Lexus leaves and he can breathe in his fucking air again, says, that match is the main event? And everybody was like, yeah. And then Oba Femi just gives that look like, huh. So then the main event happens. It's whatever. It's Lexus King. I mean, what do you expect? A dissertation? Not out of this space. Dragon Lee wins after Destino. And we think, oh, cool. Whatever. Oba Femi's music hits. Exhale. Do it. Do it. Do it right now. Let out that air. Did you do it? I didn't hear you if you did it. But regardless, Oba Femi cashing in. He walks down to the ring. And fucking Dragon Lee, I'll give him credit. He knew what he had to do. He was like, I gotta go on the attack. He hits a suicide dive. He tries to get the jump on Oba Femi. And, he even gets like a super kick at one point when Oba tries charging him in the corner. He tries to negotiate a Destino. But what's this? It's girth. That's right. And he shifts Dragon Lee's weight, does Oba Femi, and fucking power bombs him to hell and pins him 1, 2, 3 for the North American Championship.
Oh.
There it is. I was wondering what the fuck you were doing the whole
I
time.
don't know why you
Um,
told me to exhale. I was waiting for that.
well, okay, well, fair enough. I mean, the lungs on you, my God. Um, he is North American champion, and when I tell you, the live wrestling discussion channel fucking rejoiced. Me, Foster, Javaris, DBK, uh, fucking Dom, Superior Dom. We were all fucking partying. Oh my God. And let me just say, because I know only Foster and DBK is here, I fucking love you people. I love you so much. And Javaris might still be here. I fucking love you people. It was amazing partying with you. Easily the highlight of my wrestling fucking week. By far. Not even close. It was amazing seeing him with that championship. Finally, somebody that fundamentally fucking understands how to insert girth and assert dominance. It's a rhythmic
Holy
pelvic
shit.
thrust of
Oh
excellence,
my, wait,
and
we're
he
inserting
mastered it
girth with pelvic thrusts? Are we really taking it this
because
far?
because it's everything. That's right, DBK. Raise that black power fist fucking higher. As the Owen Hart of the new Nation of Domination in our Discord, I was elated with this shit. And that fucking title looks good on him. And in an exclusive, when the interviewer asked him, what can we expect from your title reign? As if
Oh.
the words rained down from the gods himself, he
He's a
summed it
good
up in one
promo
word.
too. I love it.
Dude, he just said one word: domination. And
I love it. Dude, I love it.
when I tell you the things happening in my nether regions, I felt so alive. This man is everything, because I'll tell
Can
you
we
what makes
recycle Ezekiel Jackson's ECW music?
we should. But you know what? I don't know if we will. But if we don't, what makes this man so good, besides that fucking face, his voice is just, I could listen to it all day.
Yeah,
And that
it's
is
really good.
when you have a distinctive voice, let me tell you something, you could almost, I'm not gonna be that unhinged, okay? I'm standing 1 foot on the edge here. It's not that you can cut a bad promo, but I'm far more forgiving of a bad promo when you got a fucking voice like that.
Yeah,
Because goddamn, like,
yeah.
and when he is succinct with it, domination.
Oh.
Dominate me for the love of your fucking God. Please, please. And then, as if it couldn't get any better, Sean and Javon, certified fucking kings all around. We took turns making fun of and just laughing at Damian Priest. Because Sean said in one of my favorite quotes of the year already, and it barely just fucking started, when Javaris told him, that's right, keep raising those black fists up. I better keep seeing them up the whole fucking time because we're praising fucking excellence right now. When we were talking about, and Javaris specifically, and I have to give him credit for this, um, where he was like, Damian Priest should take fucking notes. So king shit emanating from Javaris's face, as expected. I mean, for Javaris, it's only Tuesday. Sean follows it up brilliantly with, nah, for real, that asswipe. And it's so true, he is. He's an asswipe that all he knows how to do is sell moves that he gets hit with and seethe. He would have, backed down after the suicide dive. And Obafemi, meanwhile, was like, we don't do that here. We don't do that here. I'm cashing in this contract. It's happening. And he won. Meanwhile, Damien gets hit with like a right hand. And he's like, I don't know. I check the wind pressure, and it seems these circumstances aren't really bringing out the Damien in me. Go fuck yourself. Okay? This was incredible. This was absolutely incredible. This was the highlight of the wrestling week. Obafemi, which, by the way, everybody, just before I get too lost in my own sauce, which, by the way, it is simmering and it is delicious. He's only 22 years old.
Yep.
22 fucking years old. Asking Obafemi to suck is like asking Superior Paul to not be the most devastatingly handsome fucking thing since the goddamn sun. It's impossible.
Wow.
And this is the era of new black fucking excellence. And I'm here for it. I'm here. It's time. And I love that the table setter for all of this was the king of mid, Lexus King, doing the job and softening up Dragon Lee just enough, not that we needed the help, to be crystal fucking clear. And now Lexus King can go home tonight. Actually, he probably went home that night, and as he's staring up at the wall, he at least has the sole comfort of knowing the answer to the question, what indeed is a king to a god? And the answer resoundingly is not a goddamn thing. Long live Obafemi. Finally, North America is a continent worth a damn. And I am so excited for the future of NXT and particularly that championship because, dude, I could see him holding that shit for the rest of the goddamn year. And as far as Dragon Lee and his fans go, hey, you guys win too, because as far as I'm concerned, this should mean that he gets called up to SmackDown full time. So go be with your LWO buddies, jobbing to Santos where you belong. It's not like you've already lost to Santos 2 straight times. Oh, wait, you did. That's what you get for veiling face. And I think
He
we can all
is
just go home
guilty of
happy.
veiling face. I can't disagree with you there.
I know, I'm making so many points right
You
now.
really are.
Yeah, and I really love this, like, being completely serious, because I know that this was the segment I was waiting for just to pop off, and clearly I didn't waste it. But being completely serious, this was wrestling at its best to me. It's being with friends, it's rejoicing in a beautiful outcome, it's being positive about the future. This segment did everything. I am so happy for Obafemi, because again, just really emphasizing this point in a more serious register. 22 years old and already doing this shit and being such a solid promo and a great, like, this dude's one of the future pillars of the fucking company. He has to be. If he stays healthy and everything is kind to him, which we know sometimes that doesn't happen, but I
Mm-hmm.
hope it does for this dude. Because if it does, my man, like, look, I don't even dislike Moss. I actually think he actually has an upside. I think he's got like an underrated, understated like sense of humor. Personally, I think Amos has upside.
Yeah.
This dude, I think, is everything they wanted Amos to be.
Well, that's
I'm
the thing,
sorry.
right? Is like Amos is the attraction. Like this,
Yeah,
Amos is like the guy that people will pay just to see at all. This is the dude you put your world title on, though.
and that's just it. I think you said it perfectly. I really think you said it perfectly. I am so excited about the future of this dude. I don't
And
even want to begin to speculate who takes
I
the title off this dude.
another good soundbite, I guess I could say, is Amos is the Andre to Obafemi's Hogan.
Yes, absolutely. And hey, nothing wrong with being Andre, but Obafemi, if the universe is as kind to him as I hope it is, gonna make a lot of fucking money in his young life. Because Jesus Christ, um, this was awesome. And you know what, too, dude? Like, okay, this is where I could potentially be getting in territory. Kind of like what you said earlier about Ava and her English. If I am unhinged on this point, I do apologize, but I do have to say this. It's funny to me that they even like could potentially go in a cringe place with Oba. I'm saying in, like, the lead up to this, because they were like, "Oh, a fortune teller told me that I was, destined for success." And then, they show shots of Nigeria and stuff, and you could almost, like, argue that
Like
they
with the
wanted to frame it
Conquer
like, "Oh,
Industries.
well, yeah, exactly. Like, oh, they're framing it like, oh, Nigeria and fortune tellers is this like, bayous and mysticism and voodoo and stuff like that. But they don't take it that far, thank God. And now as champion, I really do hope that they don't like, and I don't think they will. I've been given no reason to think this, but just given the history of WWE, I just hope that they're never insensitive about his background at any point because we could all do to learn more about places that we know nothing about like Nigeria, like the Sudans of the world, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, I think Obafemi could be a great representative for that. He carries himself so goddamn well, and he's so fucking believable. Um, and yeah, like I just hope NXT just continues to write him straightforwardly, writes him well. I'd like to see what he would do with a bit more of an extended promo, but if you want to keep this dude to sound bites, I am not playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited for NXT going forward. This fucking guy. I'll tell you, to me, because I already know you don't give a shit about Dragunov, and the Bloom's kind of off the rose for me too. There was a period where I liked him, but I think I'm in a similar boat as you, although still not like as harsh, at least yet. Give me time. To me, Obafemi is the best champion on the brand already. Like he just won the freaking title, but like he brings all of it. It's great. So with that said,
I mean, his
that is
competition is literally just what Ilya and I don't even know who are the tag champs right now.
the family, Tony D'Angelo and
Right.
and
So
Stacks.
yeah, as we're talking about men's champions, I definitely agree. I would say that Lyra, maybe right now I would rank above him, but it's not by a significant amount.
Nice. Nice. All right, well, that was the recap. So now we get to our next segment before questions. You do any extracurriculars this week?
No.
I did actually. Again,
Ooh.
I watched the first episode, and that's probably the only episode I'm going to watch of Filipino Pro Wrestling (FPW).
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
a new wrestling promotion out of the Philippines. Again, guys, I told you I'm really going to try for you guys this year to put myself out there, be more experimental, look at new stuff. I'm gonna be truthful with you though. I'm happy for the Philippines, and I think they're hoping to get a TV deal, and maybe that'll help their production. I was not really moved by this first episode at all.
Oh,
Maybe there was like one wrestler in there that I was like, oh, he might have a little something. And I tried to watch second episode, but I'm just gonna be truthful. My heart was not in it, and it just felt very very
right.
amateur-ish, and, again, I can't fault them for that. I even credit them for putting on shows. I couldn't do that, but for me, it just wasn't my thing, and I think maybe I would've enjoyed it more if I was in the crowd because I think it is one of those things where, like, the real value is being there,
Right.
but I know they're up to, like, 9 episodes. I think they've even introduced titles at this point in their history,
Oh,
but
nice.
I don't know if I'll see it. Maybe I'll have the motivation to be like, "Okay, let's watch episode 2 and this and that," but that first episode really didn't leave an impression on me, but if you guys wanna check it out, I do still wanna be kind enough to plug them. They're FPW, so, again, Filipino Pro Wrestling, and the episodes are short. They're only, like, 40 some minutes or so, I think some episodes were even, like, around, like, 34 minutes, so it's not, like, the biggest investment, um able to hit the like button if you like the Philippines. No, again, like I'm happy
Philippines are
they're getting
great, from
wrestling.
what I understand.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm happy they're getting pro wrestling. And I do hope they get a TV deal because I think that maybe could help them with a bit of stuff. But
Production
yeah,
value, yeah.
it just really wasn't for me, and that's okay. So that was the only extra that I really did worth noting this week. So that means we can open up the floor. Oh my God, fucking Super Blue started already. I was gonna say we can open up the floor to questions. Um, and Zerblue asked, if not for the tag titles, because I think everybody's thinking like Awesome Truth. I know even you said like you really buy that theory right now, which is the way booking has been going. Should Truth get a singles match at WrestleMania 40? I wouldn't mind him winning the armbar, but singles matches I think should be coming at a higher premium, and I don't know if I'd go that far personally. So I'm gonna say no. But him
Who
winning the armbar,
specifically in the Judgment Day is against him joining? It's Priest, right?
well, it's mainly JD McDonough. He's the most apoplectic about it.
That right there, boom. If he's not tag team champions by Mania, 1-on-1 against JD McDonough in a stip match. Loser leaves WWE.
Loser leaves WWE, huh? That's perfect. Because they already tried to do Loser leaves Judgment Day, and then they like reneged on it. So, eh,
No, make it a ladder match with the actual WWE contract hanging from the top.
nice. All right. Next question from Caster Sales. If Indus Share shows up to help, Jinder, do you think someone will come to Seth's aid, or will he deal with them? Seth's gonna retain just fine. Ain't no way they're jeopardizing this title rank this close to WrestleMania. I can't even believe that people have given Jinder so much momentum online. I low key resent it, honestly. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing out here? So yeah, Caster, I'm not really worried too much about it. Foster said thoughts on Ali versus Hiramu happening soon. I think that's gonna be a fucking banger. I think it's one of the better matches New Japan's gonna be promoting right now. So I'm excited for it. I might even have to check that out when it hits online. So
Yeah, yeah, that's really exciting. I mean, I do want new faces to be kind of introduced and pushed in the junior division. If Ali is the start of that, I'm down for sure.
absolutely. Um, so Cash Sales, do you think Gunther will praise or scold Kaiser after what he did? I think he'll praise him. I understand why you're asking though, because they seem to start to do an angle where Gunther was favoring Giovanni over Kaiser because Kaiser just seemed more into himself and like, their Imperium. But I think obviously they're gonna do some rewrites with Giovanni being out. So I think they're probably gonna squash that for now, and Gunther's just gonna be happy with what Kaiser did. I'll be curious though if they go a different direction, but that's just how I see it going. Javaris
Yeah,
so
for those
Obafemi
of you that
better.
don't know, Imperium roughly translates in Austrian to Gunther's faction.
Nice. Um, Javaris, so Obafemi, better than Priest confirmed. Well, at least as far as cashing in contracts, Javaris, absolutely. Super Blue, given who's likely winning the Rumble, are you skipping the men's Rumble this year? No, the Rumble is Ashton's favorite pay per view, and I love the mini game that we do. So that alone will be enough incentive for us to watch both Rumble matches. And maybe we'll be wrong. You never know. I hope. Um, Super Blue, should Seth and Rhea defend their titles at Rumble? I'm always used to world champions kind of having the challenges before Mania to really earn that Mania spot and walk into Mania as champions. So I hope they defend their titles, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Um,
Who on the Indies do you think would benefit from going to the WWE, and who in WWE would benefit from some time on the Indies? Your mileage might vary on what counts as an indie. So who on the Indies do you think would benefit from going to the WWE? Um, God, that's tough because we don't really pay too much attention to the Indies anymore, do we?
we really don't. I couldn't even begin to tell you. That's why I feel like questions like this are always a bit awkward to
Well,
answer,
let's answer
just
the
because.
other way around though. Who in the WWE could benefit from some time on the Indies? I'm gonna say Austin Theory, big time.
Oh, Austin Theory could definitely go back. Grayson Waller probably. I mean, they're already a tag team. They should just do a tag team run on the Indies together as well as single stuff. Um, if I knew that they could come back, maybe just put Ashanti there and then really begin his storyline on SmackDown going, because I would like to just see him kind of show his stuff to a wider audience. He wasn't even on SmackDown this week, so that was like a big L to me. Um, hmm. Yeah, I'm not really sure who else. I'm sure there are like other names, but I can't really think. There would have been a time I would have said Bianca, but she just feels like so complete now for the WWE system that it'd be wasting time. Put her on there. Um, Abel, what are Hook's chances against Samoa Joe? I think I know what you're trying to do, Abel, and I love you so much, and you're my son forever. But I'm just gonna say zero. No other math needed than that. 0%. Joe's retaining. Hook's gonna get choked out, and we're all gonna hopefully enjoy it. Um, okay, that
I
was a
hope
comment
that's
from.
not how it ends. I hope Joe wins with a muscle buster.
That would be pretty cool. Misfit asked a question, or made a comment, didn't ask a question, so I could skip that. Caster, don't you think WWE is planning on pushing him hard since they changed his name to Kaiser, the word Roller? I don't know about that, Caster. I think that might be overthinking it a tad. Um, they might push him hard in the future, but right now, I just feel like the focus is where it should be on Gunther because he's just been putting out banger after banger, and he's had such a great freaking reign. So yeah, I think the attention's where it needs to be. Kaiser's time may come, it may not. I think he's getting a little bit of a mini push. Like if Giovanni didn't get hurt, maybe I could have even bought them being in tag title contention. But yeah, I don't really see too much going on there now. Um,
Thoughts on Butch finally going back to Pete Dunne?
don't really care. A name change. It's just a fresh coat of paint on a guy that
Oh,
I'm just really not that into.
see, I like it because of what it goes along with. Like, I like that he and Tyler are back to being a team again, and that like it basically is signifying the end of the Brawling Brutes. I never liked the Brawling Brutes as a faction, so this is cool for me. I like this.
Yeah, that's fair, man. Um, when is Gunther winning a world title? Aren't they having a pay per view in Germany soon that I could see him winning the world title? And weren't we just talking about that a
I
little bit
think
ago?
they're having a pay per view in Germany in the summer at some point, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna tentatively pencil him in for doing that then. I miss the Brawling Brutes too, Foster. I actually really like that faction. I even said so in the Discord during SmackDown Live Wrestling discussion. Um, So, yeah, Paul, I'm gonna say whatever the Germany pay-per-view is. Um, the Javaris, okay, who do you think takes the strong title from Julia? Honestly, Javaris, I think she just surrenders the title at this point because I don't know who the fuck beats her. Like,
Oh, Mantha.
Jesus fucking Christ. She just can't get away from her, and I can't get away from her. We're all suffering
In a
together.
honestly, in a perfect world, Mercedes, but I don't think that'll happen.
Yeah. Um, Foster, who do you guys think win the Dusty Cup? I'm gonna be honest with you, Foster. I hope Inoue and Blade win. I really like those guys. I would not mind them winning at all. But I just see Baron and Braun winning it,
Yup.
unfortunately, even though I want Braun on fucking SmackDown.
Corbin and Breaker are gonna win in the finals, beating Carmelo and Trick, because something's gonna happen there.
Yeah, and then if Trick has to compete twice on the same night, also for his NXT Championship match, because I'm
Yeah.
guessing this is all going to come to it at Vengeance Day. Either
Mm-hmm.
Dragunov's is going to beat him clean, or Melo's going to be stunned because Trick is about to do it. He's like, well, I can't have that. Time to go full circle with fake friend ass and just betray him. And it's wow, New Day really be out here having the healthiest friendship, and even that's threatened because of twin discourse. Wow, just unbelievable. Um, Let's see. Misfit saying, "How about Suzuki beating Julia for the title?" Given that Stardom's kind of cooled off on her a little bit because like she lost the world title match and then she's just been kind of taking L's ever since. I think strong title would be a good place for her to kind of orient herself and build herself back up. So
I
I'd
don't
be
think
for
she
that.
does that though, because that would require her to work U.S. shows, and we literally haven't seen her even attempt to work in the U.S. at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um.
if they want to do like, I don't know exactly when Julia's contract went out, but if they want to have an absolute banger on the U.S. show that they're going to be doing WrestleMania weekend, that would be perfect.
Yeah. Absolutely. Abel did have a question a little bit before. Do you think Jack Boy is done with AEW for realsies, or is this just a work shoot storyline to make it more edgy? Good question, Abel.
I think it's a work shoot for sure.
I I think it's a work shoot for sure as well, 'cause I I don't even know if him tearing up a contract is, like, grounds for a lawsuit or anything, but I feel like that kind of performative, you don't really risk it
It
and burn
probably
that
wasn't even a
bridge.
real contract either. It was probably, like you said, it was purely a performative thing. It probably wasn't even a real contract.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Paul said, "Where's Mercedes going?" I'm still thinking AEW. I would love if she swerved, though, and just went back and backed Bailey up with the whole Damage Control storyline. That'd be a very interesting wrinkle.
I don't know.
Fortunately. Yeah.
I've heard so many rumors that Mercedes doesn't want to go here, or that this company doesn't want her because of her price tag. Like, I honestly have no clue at this point, because I feel like there's so many smoke screens that it could be anything at this point.
Absolutely. Um, will we learn New Gunther's next? Well, maybe Super Lou. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm not really gonna speculate on that too much.
Bro,
Um,
we don't book the shit, man. Come on, what do you think we
yeah,
are?
yeah, I know. Any other questions? All right, I think I'm gonna close the gate. We're gonna move on to our next segment: high spots and low shots. My low shot is Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee losing the North American Championship after retaining against Lexus King, which I mean, I could retain against Lexus King, so maybe not worth puffing your chest out about. So yeah, Dragon Lee had a pretty rough week. Who is your low shot?
I'm gonna say Jericho, just because they basically confessed on Wednesday that he is gonna get booed if they don't play his music loud enough, and then just tonight he failed.
Yeah. You know what, bro? This just shows how much you and I love Bailey because neither one of us picked her, and I feel like we were subconsciously protecting her just from like piling it on. 'Cause she had a rough week too. I was even thinking like Bailey could have been a great
I don't want to
outlet.
pick her though, because she's in such a compelling storyline.
That is true. She's cooking right now. Um, High spot for me. This was such a great week. I can almost, you know what? I will do an honorary high spot for Kiddo. Starlight Kid being number one contender for the Wonder of Stardom title. Oh, I'm so happy for her. Oh man, that's great. But my actual high spot, of course. I mean, come on. After the bonding that I did with Javaris, Sean,
Oba.
DBK, Foster. Yep, fucking Dom, Superior Dom. It's Oba Femi. Oba fucking held that contract for 1 week. Damian Priest been hanging on to that contract for like what, over 6 months? Like, dude, get your shit together, my dude. Like,
You know what?
nah.
I'm gonna do something a little different here. I'm gonna join in on the Black Excellence celebration, but I'm gonna pick Moose as my high spot because he's the new TNA World Champion now.
I mean, we're taking over, bro. It's a beautiful fucking thing. Black excellence and those that support black excellence, fucking running the table right now. You know, if you want to come to the cookout, you better know how to season your damn fucking food. It's happening, baby. It's happening. So congratulations to Oba and Moose. Punctuate this week as champions, and Just amazing. Just absolutely amazing. So with that said, this has been Week in Review. Did Julia already compete? I have to check in because I did want to kind of speed run this. I'm guessing it's over. Battle on the Valley even end?
I have no clue.
You have no clue. Wow. How underwhelming. All right. Well, with that said, this has been TWiWoW, the Week in Review, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans on the web today. I'm John. That's my co-word commentary action. Guys, be sure to like the video, follow out, subscribe, click the bell, notifications so you don't miss any of that TWiWoW goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch because we are the best wrestling podcast in all the IWC. And oh yes, okay, apparently Julia retained, so there we go. And it was a great match apparently. So you'll definitely have to go back and watch that. Maybe I'll even go back and watch that. Yeah, check everything we're in the description box. Blah blah blah. And guys, to break down this week coming up, because it's a bit more of a unique week. So Monday, we're just all gonna get together during Raw as per usual. Tuesday, NXT meetup. I'll probably be in live wrestling discussion again with the boys, so we can enjoy the reign of Obafemi starting. Wednesday, though, is going to be Stardom recap, and I think Ash and you and I agreed to get together at 5 on Wednesday,
Yep.
just so that we don't overrun with Dynamite.
Yes,
Should
sir.
be should be 2 shows uploaded to Stardom World. Don't know how many matches will come out of that, but 5 should be plenty of time.
Yep.
I don't even really see us being live for 2.5 hours, but we'll see.
And even if we are
Um,
live for 2.5 hours, it's all good.
Absolutely. That's why we're giving ourselves that coverage. Um, but yeah, the reason why we're doing it Wednesday is because Thursday I am getting oral surgery, getting 4 teeth removed on my right side. So your old
Woo,
pal John's not gonna be able to talk for a little bit.
woo,
Um, yeah, it's 2 wisdom teeth and then 2 impacted teeth. Thankfully, it shouldn't affect my eating or my velvet tones, so that's the good news. Um,
wahoo!
Indeed. But yeah, I what was I gonna say? So yeah, that's Thursday. So more than likely, there will be no in review for Saturday. I would almost hope that I could be healthy enough to do it, just because I know that we usually do like backlogs then next Saturday, and that's really sort of kind of unattractive to me. So we'll have to see how it goes. But if
Drink
not,
that
then yeah,
max protein and shore, baby.
absolutely.
Get in your
And then just
two-a-days.
talk as little as possible and then let you just do the legwork on Saturday and
Oh
get through it.
boy.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we'll see about Saturday again. I doubt it because it would only be like, over 48 hours removed, but we'll see. But then I feel like the week after we should get back to normal because I feel like it didn't take me that long to get back to recordings after my first surgery because I had 5 removed on my left side last year. And I feel like I bounced back pretty quickly from that recording
Yeah.
wise. So I'm definitely thinking it'll be a similar case here. I hope. And of course, I'll talk with Ashton if that's otherwise. If I wake up and I'm like, yo, I kind of want to die. Do we have to do this today? But we'll see. But yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. I appreciate all the well wishes in chat. You guys are the best. But yeah, let's have a fun week until I get my teeth ripped out. And then, yeah, well, I'll
Woo.
heal, I'll bounce back, and then we'll just keep having fun again because that's how it fucking goes. So, you guys take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be good to yourselves and each other. Tune in and peace out.